Alright, what's going on YouTube? This cast is going to be sort of different from what I have done so far because so far on my YouTube I have always just exported the live cast that I did on my stream. But because of my new schedule, it was a little bit harder to catch all the Hidden Cup qualifiers that are played throughout the week because they are not all played on weekends, and I wasn't able to cast a couple of sets live. But instead, what I'm going to do is that I will just make these as a YouTube exclusive contents, and I will cast recorded games of these and upload the entire series into YouTube. So this is going to be the first qualifier set I will be casting from Hidden Cup 4. There will be a total of 32 in this round of 64s, and we start with a rather strong one over here. This is going to be Bad Koala versus Team's two very, very strong Chinese players. For whatever reason, China D is what Bad Koala is using as his AoE2 CM username. But this is going to be the first series that we're going to take a look at. So before we dig ourselves very, very deep into this one, we can see that the picks, Bad Koala was Hideout and Bay. Oops. And Slopes and Islands were Tim's home maps. Cross and Gold Rush were banned. Not all of the maps that are going to be available in the main event of Hidden Cup are played during the qualifiers. Some of them are still being fine-tuned and whatnot. So qualifiers have a limited map pool, and I think it's 8 players that do get to the main event from the 64 that signed up. Quick look at the civilizations of these players. They went for ban and then just picks, and then at the end we're gonna have one snipe from each side as the drafting system. So we'll have Franks, Ethiopians, Kumans, Lithuanians, Slavs, and Japanese. Mayans were the sniped civ. Interesting decision to see that Tim snipes Spanish, which I assume is because many Chinese players likes to play with Conquistadors, especially since the new patch made Conquistadors a little bit stronger than they used to be. They have a slightly higher accuracy now. Italians opening for Bad Koala is an interesting one, but there is islands in the map pack, so that's not that surprising. Celts, Khmer, Malay, Chinese, and Huns are available. The Indians pick is massively surprising for me. Because even though the map pool does have slopes has heavily been changed compared to the Hidden Cup free version of slopes, so they are not as overpowered over there as they used to be. In fact, I would say that they are borderline weak in that map as well. Well, not super weak, but still, it's something that is not going to be an amazing civ over there. But anyways, let us not wait any longer. I have already launched up the first game, so we are going to be able to jump inside. I'll be using Capture H for this best of 5, and let us go. So, hello, Capture H, why can't I click on this? Give me a moment, because apparently... I can't actually click on this overlay right now for Capture Age. I might need to fix that at some point, but it doesn't really matter for us right now. Most of the stats are actually visible, and honestly, Town Center, Castle Count, KD, and Idle TC is probably what we would actually leave this on anyways, so I don't think that this is going to hurt us at all. So we're going to have in the first Arabia game Tim on the left side of the map, and right side is going to be Bad Koala in blue. We're going to have a Celts versus Frankish matchup over here on Hidden Cup for Arabia. So one thing that is always worth noting when it comes to Hidden Cup Arabias is that they are usually much more open than standard Arabia generations. In fact, in the previous Hidden Cups, I have criticized this map generation heavily for being way too inconsistent and very open in many instances. So let's hope that the generation has been made a little bit more consistent. So far, this looks like a map that I'm completely fine with for Tim when it comes to, you know, being sort of open, but still it's not like the impossible to wall category. So this map is wallable for Tim. The stone mine here on the left side is not great. Gold is actually relatively safe, so are the berries. So I think that when you look at Tim's map, as it looks like we're gonna have some piggies coming in from the south, I thought that he lamed his opponent, but nope, it's just his own piggies. So the thing is that I feel like what I look at here is actually very, very good for an overall generation. So when you just think about how would you imagine an open Arabia generation to look like, this is what you would imagine. So the woodlands are relatively far away from the town centers, so it's not super easy to wall your base, yet it is not impossible either. It remains to be seen how Tim is going to be able to wall himself off. Tim is known for stonewalling off the entire map, so it is completely possible that he's going to do something like wall here, wall here, wall here, wall here, and wall here. And then he's going to have a nice little corner. Other side, sort of a similar map as well for Bad Koala. The stone once again is exposed. The gold is not as good as the one for Tim. It's also further away from the TC, I believe, but also it's on the front, which is not ideal. And the 2 secondary golds are also on the front, which makes this map somewhat subpar for Bad Koala, who may be thinking about going for a Drush FC Hoang type play. I haven't made any claims on who I would consider to be having the upper hand in this set, but I would think that Tim is just generally a slightly stronger player than Bad Koala. My expectation is a 3-1 in the favor of Tim, but we'll see. I think the 2 players are actually pretty close in skill, so this could be a relatively interesting series for us to take a look at. With that, it looks like Bad Koala is already walling himself off pretty heavily over here, going heavy on the houses, not sure why. Like, it looks like he wants to house wall his entire base, but he doesn't need sturdy population unless he's going for a Drush FC. Like, he might be making 4 houses here because he knows that he's going for a Drush FC. And a Drush FC Hoang type play can always be very, very dangerous overall on Arabia, but I feel like Tim, especially the Chinese players like Tim or Vivi, even Mr. Yo, who is a bit less aggressive, but definitely many Chinese players are super aggressive players, and they can punish you for going for a Drush FC, especially with such an open map and such a bad stone, I would say. So I would be careful if I was Bad Koala going for a Drush FC over here, because Tim could come forward and very easily, and he could just get a tower up on this hill, and he would have the hill advantage and take away your gold. Stone is also deniable, so this map isn't suitable for a Drush FC for Bad Koala by any means. And let's see if he's going to run into the TC over here, as we saw Tim pushing in, I think, all of the gear that he has had, so he's going to have a nice little start over here, with Franks going for what is going to be a 20 pop feudal age over here from him. The Frank Berry bonus has been nerfed a tiny bit, so it's not as strong as it used to be, but it is still a relatively reasonable bonus, and it looks like Tim is going to play relatively open for the time being. It is worthwhile to note that it seems like the map generation has some extra deer patches somewhere, but I don't think it's going to influence things at all. It's more just an aesthetics thing. The maps and the map pack now for Hidden Cup 4 is maintained by Crazini, and Crazini often has some random patches of deer and other passive huntables as aesthetics. So for example, if you take a look at, I think, Battle of Africa 2 Arabia, for example, I think KOTD 3 Arabia might have had some extra deer as well. Anyways, it looks like Tim is going to get some damage on his scout from the TC of his opponent, but he is going to see the barracks that is coming in from Bad Koala, who is playing a Man-at-Arms build over here with a dangerously exposed gold mine. I really don't like this. The only way that you can actually make this work is if you are 100% sure that your opponent is going for scouts, and you are actually going to make a spearman and defend this gold mine. In that case, I can justify that because, as I said, against scouts, a spearman can defend. But even against Franks that have very, very good scouts, it's not 100% granted that you're not going to see an archer build. It is going to be scouts here from Tim, so for now Bad Koala's plan is going to work out. Once he reaches feudal age, he's going to be able to get, as we have a scout fight over here, the HP now is higher for Tim, so this is not a fight that Bad Koala wants to take. Grabs Men-at-Arms, and remember, those Celtic Men-at-Arms are pretty fast, so Tim is going to have to wall this one off, but the bear actually delays him. And that delay is going to mean that the Man-at-Arms will run inside, and Tim is going to have to evacuate his berries, which hurts quite heavily as Franks. And as long as your own base is walled off to a certain extent, Man-at-Arms opening is very, very reasonable against scouts, because Men-at-Arms are actually pretty good versus scouts. Plus, after the Palisade Wall nerf, especially Dark Age Palisade Walls, but even Feudal Age Palisade Walls are a lot more exposed to Men-at-Arms. So Man-at-Arms openings are much more viable than they used to be previously, and against pure scouts plays they are more than viable. And as I said, the only thing I'm missing here for Bad Koala is that he needs a defensive spearman over here on this gold mine, because there could be a case made for Tim just sending these 3 scouts forward, or even waiting for a 4th one, and just getting villager kills on this gold mine. So it is a massive mistake from Bad Koala that the spearman is this late. He could be losing villagers by now. Luckily for him, he won't, but at this point, as you see, Tim is just going to send the scouts forward, and The mobility of the scouts will obviously be an advantage over the men-at-arms, so this is why I said that in order to play men-at-arms against scouts, you have to be fully walled at home, or you have to have a defensive spearman at your key resources. Now, since Bad Koala is actually going for the archer build over here, I wouldn't be surprised to see skirmishers, as Bad Koala is going to find a villager kill over here. Nice one to open up the game with. Worth noting that Bad Koala, however, as I said, the spearman was a little bit mispositioned. One villager is getting killed by Tim over here as a revenge. What I wanted to point out, however, is that Tim had a way less TC idle time than Bad Koala. In fact, 43 seconds of Townsend idle time for Bad Koala is pretty bad at this level of gameplay. And that means that he's almost down by 2 villagers just from the TC idle time over here. And it looks like Tim is gonna go for the good old-fashioned forward archer range strategy over here. This is more than risky. Because if Bad Koala spots this could be a very, very easily lost archer range. Man-at-arms could just destroy that, but it seems like Bad Koala isn't going to spot that, and as I said, it's going to be scouts and archers, and I am fairly certain that now we're going to see a tower here. As I said, many of the Chinese players are very, very aggressive, and when you have exposed resources like that, I think you need a defensive tower, even against the less aggressive players. So there are much less aggressive players out there, but even those would actually consider towering this one because this is so exposed, and that's exactly the plan that Tim is having over here. I think that Tim is actually playing this one very, very well. I feel like if you are Bad Koala, you should have made a defensive tower over here. I am not necessarily a big fan of preventive or preemptive towers, but in this case, you have to, because that gold mine is a must for the unit composition that you're going for. And now there is archers coming in here that are going to start pressuring the gold mine. Scouts will arrive here in reasonable quantities, and this army is not doing any damage over here because Tim is fully walled. For Bad Koala, he wants to get through these walls, so that is what Bad Koala should be focusing on. But as I said, now this is a massive concern. Even the second archer range is going to be denied, and that is an enormous concern. In fact, if the tower and the villagers inside would have focused down the archer range, this could have already been archer range denied. But even without that, I could make a case, as I said, for Tim to just have the skirms over here and use the villagers to bash down that archer range. It looks like this push is getting nowhere, and as I said, behind this one there is a much better economy for Tim. There is 1 minute 10 seconds of T settle time difference. That's 3 villagers already. So this is why I see 4 villagers difference, because both players lost 1 villager to the opponent, but there was also considerable idle time difference between the 2 players. And one of the golden rules of playing archers is that when you're playing archers against scouts, you're not going to move out with your archers without any spearman support. And if these scouts actually find these archers, this would be an absolutely disastrous fight for Bad Koala. So, in fact, I think that he's going to see that, he's going to immediately send back the scouts and clean up 4 archers for nothing. So far, I think Tim is playing very, very well, even though now he has had a little bit of a stand ground issue. Bad Koala is sort of making bad decisions under pressure, I think. And now he is definitely under pressure, he is without gold, and now he's making spearmen, but his opponent is already on towers, his opponent is already on skirms, and now what you're going to do is use your skirms to pick off that single... Actually, there's 2 spearmen over there. Archers can be used to take down the men-at-arms. These archers do not have fletching on them, but you just prioritize the spearmen over everything else, and you're going to be fine here with the Frankish scouts. I think Tim has taken a rather bad engagement over here, to be honest. I was praising him so far, but I feel like this is a bad engagement, and he also had a lot of Townsend idle time over here. So at the end of the day, the last 1 minute-ish was actually pretty disastrous for Tim. That being said, map position-wise, he's still having a massive advantage, and this might be the moment where Bad Koala pulled the trigger on the villagers, and he's just gonna move out there to stop that tower. There is a lot of low HP villagers over here for Tim. Is he gonna throw this away? This tower is not a good tower by any means. He doesn't need this tower over here. I think it would have been much better to just try to take that archer range down with your villagers. Bad Koala is still under heavy pressure. He gets in there with the men-at-arms, and men-at-arms are still having a reasonable amount of HP on them. And this forced a defensive tower from Tim. So, as I said, the last minute Tim has been sort of falling apart over here, if you want to put it that way. And even though Bad Koala is without gold, he's mining stone heavily, which means that he's actually going to be able to counter tower, and he's also going to be probably selling stone over here with a market rather soon. This could be a nice one over here. If that archer can just harass those villagers from the back of the wood line, that's gonna be pretty annoying for Tim to deal with. Tim decides that the best way to use those villagers is on the forward gold mine that makes perfect sense. Like, you don't want to walk all the way back, might as well mine some gold around of it. Scouts are still without any upgrades, so I would think that Tim is going to try prioritizing Castle Age. He's got quite a lot of villagers queued up. If he went for wheelbarrow instead of this many villagers, I think he could be close to clicking up. And since he's on stone with 4 and has 420 stone in the bank, it should be no surprise that he's going to be able to drop a castle. And knowing Tim and knowing how aggressive he is, I wouldn't be surprised to see that castle being right over there to deny that gold mine forever. Now, Koala is actually doing a nice job adjusting to the other gold mines, and look at this. If he sells his stone, he might actually be able to beat Tim into Castle Age here, so Tim is somewhat misplaying this one in the last 1 or 2 minutes. Villager count is still in the favor of Tim, but Koala indeed thinking about going up right now, idling his DC for a moment, and on the way he is, and as bad as the position his was in the last couple of moments, or couple of minutes, now he's alright, I think. Franks have cheaper castles, and with that many villagers on stone, you could really make a case. I don't think that he even needs these defensive towers now, or at least not this one maybe, with spearmen around, but yeah, it's better to be safe than sorry, but with this many villagers on stone and the cheaper Frankish castles, and I completely screwed that up because he is Celts, but had he not made these 2 defensive towers, he could have been close to dropping a castle over here, and the castle would have cleaned up all of these. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the right play here for Koala is need to move away from stone and drop a TC, for example, on this gold mine, and so maybe try sneaking a villager forward and trying to get a siege workshop up for a Huang Rush. He's gonna have a 1-minute advantage going into Castle Age here, and it looks like Tim is going to continue with knights. So I think what Koala has to open with, skirms are technically fine for the time being, but I think you need a couple of knights, and then potentially pike and siege can work, but you need to open with knights over here indeed. It's typical Huang strategy over here, something that is very, very interesting to think about, that Huang pretty much revolutionized the game this way, because there's so many people trying a strategy now, a strategy that is, like, it's not necessarily about no eco or Castle Age push. The Huang strategy, I feel like one of the key ingredients to that is knight, like beating your opponent into Castle Age and using knights to secure a foothold for a siege push. That's basically the key element of the Huang Rush in my perspective. We could get some villager kills over here, but Koala reacts in time and he's going to lose none. And that army is going to escort that villager. I think there was a villager with that army somewhere. And it looks like we're going to settle with a defensive siege workshop here for Koala for now. It's not impossible that he's eventually going to get a siege workshop up front as well. But here's the deal. We know that Tim loves his stone walls, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to stone wall off the right side. Left side is also sort of stone walled off. So he's just known for that over here. And we'll have scale barding as well, and the Frankish knights will always be better than the Celtic knights over here. However, just 1 or 2 knights could clean this one up very, very easily. And we also have a reasonable amount of archers that now will be crossbowmen for Koala, which means that he's going to be able to take a good engagement against these early knights that will only have +1 defense. This army is going to be able to escape for now. And we'll have a mangonel, which I assume that the idea was to clean this one up over here, but that is going to be a bad idea, because now Tim is dropping a forward castle, something that I mentioned before, that he's going to have the resources for that. And this army, he's not going to react, so he's not patrolling that army, not so great. Loses 1 crossbowman, now reacts, but like the skirmishers will just focus down his crossbows over here. And I think this was a good engagement for Tim. But Lord Doubt is smiling on us. There is a mangonel here, and the crossbowman as well. I don't think this castle is going up. I don't think this castle is going up, and you can just pull the villagers to repair that. You can't really access this tower right now, but you could just use the knights, for example, to knock that house down. That house has 41 HP, so you could actually do that very, very easily. And there could be 5 villagers getting killed over here from Tim if that happens. Random spearman runs into the base, won't change much for now. But Tim arrives with the knights. Crossbows slightly mispositioned, in fact heavily mispositioned. With good micro, you could actually micro these away. It's only +1 defense on these knights. Knights will try to snap the mangonel and try to finish that castle. Oh boy, that was a beautiful one though from Tim over there. Snipes the mangonel. The towers are still alive and the villagers will get slaughtered. Oh, Koala. Oh my goodness, that wasn't good at all. And that castle is gonna go up. he wasn't able to deny that castle over there, and if the crossbows actually reacted in time, I think they could have actually done enough damage on the knights. For this, Tim is expanding pretty heavily with his town centers, so he's going to be on 2 town centers now. Rather safe base, 53 eco against 44, and most importantly, Tim is not the player that has a huge castle in his face, and Tim has a cheap castles as well, so if he sends a couple more villagers on stone, then like 5 villagers on stone is going to be able to get him another castle very soon that is going to be able to get a forward position over here. Bad Koala is getting a TC up over here on the other gold mine, making spears against the knights. But here's the problem against Franks. Franks is actually the best civilization when it comes to battling pikeman transition among the knight civs. So most of the knight civs initially struggle against dealing with the pikemen in Castle Age. That's not the case for Franks. Franks will have an easy castle up because it's a cheap castle, and Franks will also be able to train throwing axemen, so they react very, very well to a pikeman switch. It looks like we're gonna have a sneaky push here by Tim. I think he wants to coordinate this with something else, maybe a mangonel push on this TC, so while Bad Koala is microing here, he's going to be using the knights to hit that part of his opponent's eco. Still only 2 town centers for Tim, but I think he's going to start picking up relics over here, even healing the knights that are weak from combat. This is a very, very small detail, but I like that this is something that Tim is paying attention for. He's missing Boso and only now getting +2 defense, which could also contribute to the fact on why he's not actually attacking over here, and I feel like he just missed an opportunity of being able to kill 4 or 5 villagers. But it doesn't really matter, and it looks like Bad Koala is thinking about dropping his own castle, 12 on stone. Kind of feels like he wants a castle, most likely over here. So like right over here, there is a battering ram coming in, and that's gonna make life pretty hard for Bad Koala because that battering ram takes down the blacksmith, so Bad Koala is going to struggle getting blacksmith upgrades in. For example, his infantry has absolutely 0 upgrades on, and yeah, most of the players may just say, okay, I'm gonna go defensive cast and defend against this one. Bad Koala thinks otherwise. He wants a cast on the face of his opponent, and we know that Chinese players like to play their games messy, so they really are masters of very aggressive plays, super aggro. But I kind of feel like this castle, honestly, I think it's gonna go up because there is enough pikemen to stop the knights here. The problem is that Bad Koala is about to lose his entire eco over here because I think there is a hole over there, but even if not, these knights will run in here and kill everything. So this is like, I'm not going to say it's a doubt castle, but it's actually a weird version of that where you pull your villagers to make the castle. You don't lose those villagers, but you lose everything else. It's 23 knights in here, and don't be misled by the fact that there is a tower here, because that tower is gonna go down to knights pretty soon. And like there is more holes on this wall than in a block of Swiss cheese, so obviously this is gonna be a slaughter over here. And yeah, this castle goes up, but Bad Koala says, oh look, I think the only way I can imagine that Bad Koala thought that this is gonna work out is if he didn't know that he's up against that many knights. Maybe he thought he's up against like 10 knights or so, and his opponent is like 1 TC, and then maybe he can actually do some damage over here. But once he saw the knights, he was like, oh yeah, I get a castle up here, but I'm just gonna lose everything else. Tim grabs a rather confident game number 1 victory over here, which means that we are going to the home map of Bad Koala over here, which is either Hideout or Bay. So a quick look at the civilizations. Celts will be taken and will be a loss for Bad Koala. Team is going to take Franks, and we'll be going into game number 2 over here. Let me load up the recorded game, and here it is. So welcome to Bay, formerly known or nicknamed as Pants for its shape. Bay is a map where you have a pond in the left side, has a reasonable amount of fish. One of the things that makes this characteristic is that you have these shallows over here that are walkable, so you can't just vault the water. That is going to block you from walling, let's say, from this woodline to the edge of the water and just be safe. So if you want to wall your base, you have to wall like this. And for example, Bad Koala's base is absolutely horrendous to do that. What do we have here? Civilizations. Batclaw is playing Malay in blue, and the right side is going to be Slavs for Team in red. Very, very surprising, because on this map, you, in the majority of the cases, prioritize hybrid map civs, like Persians, most notably Mongols. It looks like the amount of huntables that were in a single patch here were changed. Previously, in Hidden Cup 3, you had like one big patch of huntables, and everybody was almost exclusively picking Mongols for this map because of that. So you had like 8 deer or so here, and everybody just went Mongols and, you know, dropped a mill over here and took the deer. So it looks like now we have smaller patches. You could still justify moving out to take the deer, but I don't think it's that important anymore. So I would think that now the civs that take priority are going to be good hybrid map civs. Persians, Malay could be a candidate as well. What else? I don't think that pure water civs like Italians would actually make a lot of sense here, but it's more like the hybrid maps civ. So Persians, Mongols could still make sense. Especially, I don't think that you're gonna push in deer from this distance, but you could still try milling it, or just use the hunt bonus from the boars and still go up for a faster feudal age over here. Portuguese could be an intriguing idea, I would say, but I'm not necessarily a big fan of that. Vikings, it's unlikely because you need fire galleys to fight for the water at the beginning. And let's see if we're going to have Tim Laming over here, because he is up front over here. It's worth noting that both the gold and stone mines from Bad Koala are pretty bad in front of his base and not really vulnerable. And the other side, I'm somewhat surprised about Tim going for the Slavs pick over here, because that is by far not a civ I actually imagined for this map. It looks like he's just going to play standard scouts. On the other side, we have 5 on wood for Bad Koala, so he is actually going to move out to make a dock. Now, this is not something that he's going to get punished for right now, but he could be punished for that in the future if he actually gets to the next round. Sending out a Voyager without Loom to make the dock is extremely dangerous, because one of the things that your opponent is going to do is use his scout to try and stop your Voyager from getting that dock up. So this is why you either escort your Voyager with the scout, or you're going to get Loom for yourself. Now, the shallows patch at the edge of this pond is thick enough so that you cannot just use a dock to completely block it. There will always be excess tiles over here. So, yeah, no matter what you do, unless you wall your base like this, and this is exactly what the Bad Koala shouldn't be doing, and I don't know if he knows this, but he could get punished for this very easily. If he thinks that this is gonna be closed, he's wrong. Because there is a tile of shallows over here that's going to allow Tim to run through. So, I have seen players losing games like that in Hidden Cup 3. We will have a scout fight over here. I think that the edge is on the side of Tim's scout, but it's pretty hard to tell. This was, like, they are hitting each other at the same time. It looks like Tim is losing that, or at least he thinks he's losing that. Even if you actually attack each other's scouts, usually it can be seen that there is like a split-second difference between the HP bars decreasing for one scout compared to the other. So it's sometimes possible to determine which of the players is losing a battle like that, but not in this case. It looks like we'll have a drush from Tim, not something that a lot of people would have expected. And I feel like the idea here for Koala was that he was using his fishing ships to block this passage. And, well, did I mention that this walling isn't gonna work out? And based on the map layout, I would be tempted to say that what Tim wants to do is maybe Drush FC forward Siege Workshop, because the thing is that you are pretty much cornered in here. So if your opponent gets a forward Siege Workshop in here, you will be cornered, and that could be very, very troublesome. Bad Call obviously is going to have a much stronger eco here, thanks to Malay, thanks to the fact that that he also has fishing ships on board. Quick walls will fail, but even if they didn't fail, they're much weaker than they used to be. And it looks like there is a bit of a greed over here for Tim. I don't like that, because he lost so much HP on those militias, and at the end of the day, he didn't get anything out of that. But it looks like Bad Koala was playing for a standard fire galley play here with the Malay, but Tim thinks otherwise. It's 22 Voyagers up, which would mean it's a rush into archers, but that would be massively surprising for me. And it looks like this wanted to be Drush FC, or at least Drush into archers, but this is gonna be Drush into towers, interestingly. It looks like Koala is going to be able to save this Warrior for the time being. And, well, towers from Tim, who would have thought. He's sending 4 Warriors to stone, which means he's gonna have a pretty strong stoning count. One thing that you could do is get a tower up here on this dock, and that would actually make the life of the fishing ships pretty hard. Meanwhile, for Bad Koala, he seems to know that his opponent is not on water, so he's not gonna make a single fire galley. In fact, we're going to see more militias from Tim. He's going to intercept that scout. We'll see if Bad Koala has seen the villagers as well. He will know that this scout died to something, but he can't be sure what it was. It may have been the opponent's scout, it may have been another militia out, so I'm not 100% convinced that Tim or Bad Koala knows about these villagers arriving just now. This is a dangerous move. You don't want to pass over here with your villagers, because Bad Koala is doing the right thing. He's making a demo raft, and that could actually sink all the villagers from Tim. Not necessarily ideal to sink 2 militias, but at least it's something, right? This villager can actually take this fight and will survive, and it looks like everything is being cleaned up, and now Bad Koala is going to start transitioning into a land army. Now gets a galley out, and it looks like Tim knows that he doesn't want to go through the water, so he just wants to bash his way through these walls and continue towering. And he has scouted this. He knows that the stone is on the front, he knows the gold is on the front, and it looks like the militias are still alive, so they're still scouting. And that's important because this way Tim knows that there is no backup stone or gold on this side that's available for Bad Koala. And it looks like we're going to have most likely a skirmisher and tower push over here, with the archers coming out for Bad Koala. Tim's eco is actually pretty fine-ish over here. He's behind by 4 villagers thanks to melee and thanks to the fact that he's not having fishing ships. And there is going to be a counter tower over here. If these militias had a higher HP, I could have made an argument for man-at-arms, but that's not really going to be the case over here. And Tim, he's gonna have to bail out on this, and the thing is that I feel like the extra fishing ships over here will really materialize for Bad Koala. So, look at this. Tim is gonna have to bail out on this attempt. We will have the militias going down, and this tower isn't really accomplishing much other than denying the dog. But at this point, if you are Bad Koala, you could try sneaking a dog up here in the corner so you can actually be safe. And yeah, they already brought in quite a significant amount of resources, and let's see if this tower even goes up, because I'm not 100% sure. The galley is coming in here as well. I think the tower is gonna go up. Yes, it will. So Bad Koala is gonna have to replace his dog somewhere else, potentially over here. Anyways, Tim's eco isn't magnificent, so he's gonna run out of berries very soon with no consistent food income. Just getting the farms out with slabs, but no horse color on these farms, so that's far from ideal. I like that Tim is walling in his towers. This is something that a lot of pros do not do, though. And it looks like Tim wants another angle on this gold mine, but he's just gonna run into archers very, very nicely. A closed angle here by Bad Koala with just a couple of archers. There will be a few skirms involved, so I would say that Bad Koala needs a couple of skirms his own. And indeed, there is going to be another dock. I don't think that you wanna delete this just now, but you wanna just send your shorefish or your fishing ships on this fish deposit, because that's that way they are going to drop it off at the closest one, which is over here. The other thing I like here is that the galley will probably be used to snipe down the skirmisher and help out the archers in this engagement. The villager count is only different by 2, but oh, Bad Koala almost trapping that army in there. Well, not an army, it's just a bunch of villagers. But this tower is gonna be cancelled once again, and it looks like Tim is able to pull, or Tim is forced to pull a couple of villagers to make these towers, but they are just failure after failure. And at the end of the day, the eco is much, much stronger for Bad Koala, because right now these villagers are back to work, whereas the villagers from Tim aren't really working. So sometimes Bad Koala has to pull some villagers to, you know, survive, basically. But he can send those villagers back to work much easier than Tim can send these villagers back to work. So at the end of the day, I think the eco is slightly stronger for Bad Koala, although I like that Tim is taking the huntables. Something that Bad Koala isn't bothering with, but he's got a consistent food income from fishing ships. It looks like he lost one of those, but he could add 1 or 2 more, to be honest, to this dock if he wants to. and his farming eco is also a lot more consistent than his opponent's farming eco. Worth noting that he has horse, or yeah, he has horse color compared to his opponent that does not. And we do have fletching, no +1 defense over here, same upgrades for Tim. And now you can just use the archers to try and stop that tower. One voyager goes down, and honestly, I'm not sure if this tower is going up. Or, well, it's gonna go up. But this tower accomplishes absolutely nothing, yet it costs 2 Voyagers for Tim, who is now behind by 6. And Bad Koala is actually getting closer to evening this one out. We get a sneaky Voyager over here, which could be here for like a forward stable and a couple of knights or elephants when Bad Koala reaches Castle Age and he is about to go up. Or it could be for a forward siege workshop. It's going to be for a stable. I like this. You are confident holding your base back at home. Worst case scenario is that you have to make a defensive siege workshop and go for mangonels. I also would like to add that Malay go up to the next stage very fast, so the fact that he clicked up earlier is one thing. It's a different thing as well that he's gonna be up very, very fast. In 1 minute, we're going to be talking about Bad Koala being up into Castle Age, and honestly, since his opponent is feudal still, in fact far from Castle Age, I could make an argument for elephants, because elephants are not something that you can actually stop with feudal age units, and Malay elephants are also cheaper, so there could really be an argument made for that. Sneaky tower attempted over here by him, but I think the skirms may be able to delay this one so that the Voyagers are able to finish over here for Bad Koala. But even if that doesn't work out, I think Bad Koala could potentially break out and go move to this gold mine, or just sell some resources, go for a siege workshop, and mango these down. But let's see what he looks for. He's looking for elephants, and I think that's the right decision. And now, I think this is the moment when Tim realizes, oh shoot, I have to get up to Castle Age. He's got enough gold to potentially sell some and soon click up, but still, it's going to take about 2 minutes for him to get up to Castle Age. And by that time, we're going to have Bad Koala coming out here with potentially 5-6 elephants. Now Tim, I think he's going to be able to spot these stables, luckily thanks to his hunt, or not. Tim has no idea about those stables, and that's gonna come as a surprise that there's a couple of elephants marching towards his base. There's the forward siege workshop as expected by Bad Koala, and now this tower is gonna go down. Another tower comes in here to deny the fishing eco, but now you can just use this Voyager to drop a dock here, and you will have the fishing eco working for you. Bad Koala shouldn't wait for a very, very long time, but I think he'll wait until he has like 6 or 7 elephants, because he can go for the barracks and take it down instantly and support his push with a Scorpion or a Mangonel, and he's going to be more than fine. It looks like Bad Koala is getting very, very close to evening things out here, because Tim's starting base is going to be leveled here in a couple of moments. Indeed, we have battering rams, interestingly, from Bad Koala. That also makes sense, because your elephants are tanky enough to camp the bottom of the town center and just kill the villagers that are trying to kill the ram. It looks like this offensive from Tim has completely stalled out, and now that's a lot of elephants, and you can see that Tim is like full panic mode, running away from his base. But that is pretty much a death sentence, and that is the Castle Age TC. And I'm gonna be brutally honest, I'm not even sure if Castle Age is gonna kick in here for Tim, because this TC is going down very, very rapidly, and that battering ram is actually very, very close to influencing this one. Tim, yeah, caused the GG. I think even if Castle Age comes in, it's not like Tim can do anything, but there would have been a very, very legitimate chance of that TC being lost before Castle Age kicks in. Bad Koala evens things out in this one. So the next map that we're going for is gonna be the home map of Tim, which is slopes or islands. We will have Malay gone for Bad Koala, and Tim is going to lose Slavs over here. So, well, let's not waste time. I'm also trying to make these a little bit more condensed than, you know, my regular tournament casts, where it's like, you know, there is a lot more time in between games. And we will need to reconnect Capture Age And we can get going with this one. So welcome to apparently Islands. This is going to be the first home map of Tim over here. Don't worry about the initial lags. The first couple of seconds is like that with capture age. That's something that is just a general capture age concern. It will be fixed in the future, I believe. Anyways, we'll have Tim playing as Japanese on the right side in red, and we have seen that Batqual has picked Italians as his first civilization in the draft that is going to be used over here in blue. So, Islands, this is where we sort of have some memes as well. This was first introduced in Hidden Cup 3. These ruins are actually the ruins of the free archery ranges that T90 once built on a neutral island. That's a T90 meme, and as I said, it was first introduced in Hidden Cup 3. I think that's the only meme on this map, but you're going to see that there is some other nice Easter eggs on these maps. Now, the way Islands looks like, and that is an important difference compared to Team Islands. On Islands, you have two big patches of gold. It's 7 tiles each. You have two big patches of stone, but there is no neutral gold or stone on your island. In comparison to Team Islands, where on Team Islands the gold distribution is a little bit different. You have 7 plus 4 plus 4, if I am not mistaken. The other interesting thing is that on Team Islands, even in 1v1, there is no neutral islands in the middle, whereas on Islands you do have one. One always holds at least one gold deposit, often it's 2. And the other one holds the stone. I have seen generations, especially in Hidden Cup 3, where the stone was on a separate island and the 2 gold patches were on the same one. I'm not sure if this is going to be a consistent thing, that we see a gold and stone on the same island and another gold on the other. I think this is a little bit more balanced than having 2 golds on one island and 1 stone on one island. But we'll see if that's a consistent thing or if it's just for this specific generation. When it comes to... Technically, we could try evaluating how much wood the players have on their islands, but just by looking at these islands, I would say that both of these players have about the same amount of wood to work with. One thing I would note is that the island for Tim is much thicker, which means that it is less exposed to war galleys or galleons later on shooting at villagers. In comparison to Bad Koala, for example, who is gonna have a wood line like this, and for example, war galleys or galleons from this bay can actually hit these villagers over here. So that could be a little bit more concerning. So I am tempted to say that I like Tim's map a little bit more. Who's going for a sort of a back-ish dock over here. It is corner focused, which means that if you think about that, in the corner you have the highest probability of getting the most available deep fish. Whereas if you put it on the front, you're gonna have the islands blocking some. Put it in the back, same thing over here with the edge of the map. So the highest amount of fish that you can have access to from a single dock is going to be when you put your dock close to a corner. So either here or here. Obviously this one is closer, so this is what Tim is gonna go for. Batco is gonna go for a standard front dock play over here. So we'll see what Tim is planning with his fishing eco. Normally, if you place a dock like that, like a back or side-ish dock, you probably open galleys. But speaking of these players, it is completely possible, especially with Tim, that he tower rushed in the first 2 games. It is completely possible that he's building this dock at the back so that he's gonna be able to land and go tower rush, and behind that he's gonna have a safe fish boom. Japanese would also make a strong argument for that because Japanese fishing ships are sturdier, so it's much harder to kill them. Other side, it seems like a standard fire galley play from Bad Koala over here with Italians. And that's basically all that you're going to see over here. And indeed, that's a fast loom from Tim. That's a very, very fast loom over here. And oftentimes you make loom just as a preemptive measure to make sure that your opponent isn't going to land you. But the fact that Tim is still on food and now clicking up. Let's see, if he's going for a galley rush, he's going to soon start sending villagers to gold. And I don't see that. In fact, he's still on food. And for me, that signifies that there is a transport ship. So if this was a standard galley rush, what you would see is exactly what Bad Koala is doing. Basically send all villagers from food to wood and send 4 villagers to gold. That's exactly what's gonna happen over here as well, I assume. Yeah, indeed. There is the 4 villagers. I think you are fine with 4, you don't need 5 if you're Tim. Anyways, this villager will be sent to make another dock somewhere around over here. And the reason why Koala is up this fast is because he didn't go for Loom. And oftentimes, many players question, do I need Loom on islands? Like, what? But the answer is yes. We are going to see, even against less aggressive opponents, many players will go for Loom just for the sake of making sure that even if they get landed, they're not going to lose anything. I don't think that Bad Koala is going to be able to see that transport anytime soon. We can switch to his POV. And he knows nothing right now. It's going to be a forward range. No, it's a barracks. It's a barracks first. I'm not necessarily a fan of that. In this case, we're probably going to see... we have villagers on gold, so I'm tempted to say it's only 2 gold. We're going to see Japanese men-at-arms, and now this aggression will be spotted. So Bad Koala can actually react to this one in time, and one of the advantages that you're getting from this one is that you know that your opponent isn't going to go for a lot of fire galleys, and that's why Tim is picking Japanese here. He knows that he's not going to be able to take the fire galley fight, so the best thing he can do is just make sure that his fishing ships die slowly, and having a backdock and Japanese fishing ships is a completely nice way of doing that. Normally, I'm not a fan of dropping the barracks on the opponent's island because that delays your push and increases the chance of being revealed. But with Japanese, that is something that I can completely justify because you are trying to play Japanese men-at-arms over here. But in this case, you have to have your men-at-arms denying those walls. It's not like it is impossible to get through those walls anyways, because there's a transport ship right next to you. And it seems like this push is going to work out well. And look at this. Bad Koala isn't even threatening the fishing eco of his opponent. And now Tim is able to start adding galleys. Tim is playing this one very, very well. And I'm somewhat surprised that Bad Koala underestimated the possibility of a landing over here by this much from a player that is known to be extremely aggressive like Tim. And that stone mine is gonna be instantly gone. Transport trying to save its life for the time being, and it looks like Bad Koala is gonna have to make a barracks right now for himself, but this is pure reactions now. He has to react to a given scenario, and that is never great, because Team's eco was built up for this certain build, having a backdock and, say, fishing eco, making galleys. He was planning for this one, whereas his opponent wasn't, and now there's another tower, so I'm tempted to say that this is gonna come down to food eco denial, so that you are gonna get a tower up close to the TC to prevent the farming men-at-arms. These are Japanese men-at-arms, so they're actually attacking faster, kill one villager, another one, or they went down. And I think this villager may get another villager kill. Yep, men-at-arms gets another one. So at the end of the day, Bad Koala has lost 3 villagers already. This tower is gonna go up. The tower could actually shoot the sheep to prevent, as you see, those are just some extra arrows, but the sheep are also getting killed in this one, and that is going to prevent that sheep from being eaten. Now, I like that Tim is sending his fishing ships into a corner over here. He could have gone for a demo though. That's something I would criticize in his build, that I think that a demo against the fire galley opening would have been completely legitimate and understandable. Now there is an archer range coming in here. Bad Koala still has a gold mine available and does have a stone mine as well, but he's gonna have some trouble with the food eco. See that he's gonna have to send a bunch of villagers to shore fishing, whereas for Tim, he's also on berries, but he's also starting at farms, and remember that his fishing eco is alive and he's now going to counterattack the opponent's fishing eco here. Keep in mind that Bad Koala wants to castle age this. I didn't even notice this, that since Bad Koala's initial fishing eco wasn't pushed, it seems like what Bad Koala is aiming for, especially with Italians that have a cheaper castle age, is clicking up. And if he clicks up to castle age, he's gonna be able to hold this one for a long enough time to get up to castle age, get a siege workshop out and counterattack this. And remember that he's still the one that is denying the fishing eco of his opponent, even though I think the plan here for Tim was that he wants to make a dock here and fish here, a place where Bad Koala wouldn't expect it, but Bad Koala apparently spots the fishing ships, so he's gonna be able to go for that. Nice moves from Tim sniping down the fishing eco of his opponent though. Galleys are just so good at actually killing fishing ships, but one thing galleys do not excel in is fighting against fire galleys when the numbers are relatively close to each other. So it looks like Bad Koala is winning water over here, and it's not like Tim is winning the land decisively by any means. So at this point, Bad Koala, he's gonna have to buy some stone to make the counter tower, but he's gonna be able to get this one up without any problems. And as I said, the ingredient after that is probably stable. You could actually make an argument for making a transport if you are Bad Koala and trying to just transport a couple of knights to the opponent's island, because that could be completely legitimate, and then defend at home with a siege workshop. In fact, I think that's the best play for Bad Koala over here. So make a couple of knights when you reach Castle Age. Send those 5 knights over. Your opponent has his barracks over here. This is an extremely important piece of information, and that's why I normally do not like barracks on the opponent's island, because if you get landed by a couple of scouts even, you are going to be exposed to them because you don't have any defensive buildings back at home. And Tim, he's gonna try to buy himself up as well, but it's gonna be kind of tricky. And I feel like Bad Koala is going to play this one safe and first go for the knights on his own island to try and clean the towers up. Here come the knights indeed. And it looks like these archers will try to sail across. There is a fire galley over there that could actually kill that transport. And here's the dock I was talking about. You're trying to get a sneaky dock up here so you can actually get your fishing ships working. Obviously, the Voyager count is heavily in the favor of Tim because he had way less TC out of time, and more importantly, he still hasn't gone up to Castle Age. But now there's a knight over here. The knight should be able to kill the archers if they unpop, and the fire galley should be able to sink that transport. And as I said, the next step for Bad Koala would be to transport those knights to the opponent's island, and you make... you can make an argument for battering rams in this case, because knights could support and prevent the Voyagers from killing them. However, I think that it is a better play to go for a mangonel, because you don't need to get to the bottom of the tower to deal with that. And it looks like Bad Koala isn't really focusing on counterattacking. So far, he's just, focusing on not dying. And I feel like, as I said, if he just went for even just these 2 knights being sent to the opponent's island, would actually mean so much for him in terms of being able to pressure a gold mine or so. Tim knows this, and he's gonna start stonewalling himself like usual. And these docks aren't good for Tim now. Like, I understand the first one, but after seeing his opponent being in Castle Age, the second one is a mistake, because now he's trying to make a fleet from these docks. However, battering rams will be able to take down docks relatively easily, and you won't really have the means to stop that one from happening. So these docks could go down very easily. Tim is spamming drops everywhere, but these will get cleaned up one by one by the battering rams. That's the thing. And let's see, there's the transport from Bad Koala now. There is also Voyager, so that's gonna be a forward siege workshop too. Probably 1 forward Voyager and 4 knights will be sent in there. This is looking like a game for Bad Koala so far, because everything that he's doing is just working out much better. If he goes for a War Galley upgrade here, which is, by the way, a cheaper upgrade for him because he's Italians, then he's gonna be able to take these dogs down very easily before his opponent could get a strong play from that. And indeed, there's the forward Voyager. These 2 Voyagers get intercepted, and there's going to be a forward siege workshop being placed over here. So, in fact, if Tim opens this wall up in the wrong time, he's gonna have an even harder life. 2 Voyagers go down very easily over here, and it looks like there is no openings on this side. In fact, there is absolutely no openings on Tim's base, but it's not like it is needed either, because Bad Koala can make a mangonel and make an opening here. Battering rams, as I said, just going for the docks. War Galley will be coming in for both players. At the end of the day, Tim still has 4 Voyagers difference. One of the reasons is because Bad Koala now starts to have an awful lot of DC idle time. Like, Bad Koala is 0 food right now in the bank, has 7 Voyagers on food, but 5 of those are berries, so like this much DC time is not something that you can compensate, even with some very good plays. We're going to have a monastery from Tim to defend against this one, and honestly, I feel like there was a bigger advantage for Bad Koala than what he actually was able to utilize over here. It looks like there is going to be a stable for knights. Knights pop out over here, but the battering rams will be able to finish off the stable, I believe, before the next knight could potentially come out. Nope, 1 more knight is going to pop out, but these Voyagers will be cleaned up. It looks like Tim is having a rather even fight against his opponent on water, and the priority right now for Bad Koala is to clean up the villagers. Everything else is secondary over there. And now we are going to have another monastery, and we will have a siege workshop here as well. That's actually a bad fight for Bad Koala, losing one knight to conversion, but we'll have manganol soon. I think if Tim is able to clean up his island and, you know, start focusing on his eco a little bit more, then he's gonna be fine. And now he's the one that is pushing his opponent on that island. So obviously, this battering ram is forcing a defense over here and might need to repair this monastery, otherwise you could get overrun. And Tim is just making the first manganol. That's even worse, because every second you delay that manganol, that gives some extra time for that scorpion. Or Scorpion snipes down a monk for nothing, but every second you delay that manganol, that gives time for that battering ram to knock down buildings, and that is a very, very significant problem. Bad Koala misreacts this one pretty badly though, loses the second knight to conversion without anything. That was actually pretty badly played for him. And now Tim could pop out with the manganol and try to finish off the Scorpions or the battering rams, but now knights are inside and there isn't really enough monks to deal with this one. And from this point on, especially if the knights weren't actually beating up the lumber camp, Tim is gonna have a lot of idle time on him because of this. It's only 2 knights, but 2 knights can cause so much chaos, and in the meanwhile, you see that this is getting cleaned up. All the docks will be cleaned up as well, and at the end of the day, you have 4 fire ships against 0. Tim is pretty much off from water. In fact, Tim is going to be completely off from water, and the next batch of knights is already coming in. Nice quick pause over there from Tim. Manganol pops out to deal with the battering ram, but the battering ram goes by. Then another conversion is in. That's nicely played by Tim. Jumps back into the TC. That was a bit misplayed by his opponent. Bad Koala could actually finish off that manganol with that knight though, so I'm not sure what he's doing. Like, there is some massive miss micros here from Bad Koala, and he's still behind by 3 villagers because his eco is still pretty much idle. Like, look at this, 0 farms, for example, 0 fishing ships. Now that he has the water, he should start adding fishing ships like a madman. But right now there's 1 worker on food. So this is starting to turn into a Hoang rush as well, from the perspective that none of the players actually has an eco going for him. That is a nice mango shot, but it is going to be a reasonable trade, I would say, for Tim. Doesn't matter though, because he's got no military to defend his lumberjacks with, and as I said, the key thing is gonna be idle time. If you look at the overall villager idle time, it's just massively increasing for Tim over here. Bad Koala just needs to make sure that he doesn't lose the knights to conversions easily and slowly add fishing eco for himself. He's very much focused on defending his, or fighting this one. And what is he up to? Is he gonna... He ran all the way back to the transport, not sure why. Right now, Tim's eco is an absolute mess. Bad Koala, his eco is also pretty messy, but now he realizes, okay, I can start making fishing ships, and eventually he's going to catch up. And now Tim also has a lot of TC at a time because Tim's farming eco and fishing eco was denied as well. Tim is on 2 TCs, but it doesn't matter because he just has no food eco to actually do anything with that. And it looks like now Tim wants to go back to water. But this is actually going to be something that Bad Koala finds in time. And remember that Bad Koala always has the knight. Tim is going for Redemption, which is a pretty expensive upgrade, but I guess his idea is that he wants to convert that siege workshop so that his opponent isn't going to be able to get any more siege weapons on the field. And it looks like Bad Koala might be unlucky and he's not going to find the dock here. This is huge. This is actually legit huge. The fact that Bad Koala didn't find the docks would be enormous. It has been a cleanup, and now Bad Koala has a pretty decisive lead overall in terms of economy. So 6 villagers and now finds a dock. So he knows that, okay, my opponent is back on water, so I'm going to have to start making my navy once again. Manganol pops out, focuses on the other Manganol, and then gets deleted before it would be converted. But this siege workshop at the end of the day will be deleted by Bad Koala because he doesn't want his opponent to convert it. I wonder where all those knights went, to be honest, because there were a couple of knights that were transported away, and there's still 4 knights somewhere. Maybe in a transport ship? Where are those knights at? There's one over there, but there should be 3 knights in transport. Oh, the big sneak all the way across the island. Knights popping out on the other side. The thing is that they won't really be able to hit anything, to be honest, and Tim is gonna have all the time in the world to react to this one, because it's not like this was done anything secretly. But still, They could intercept that monk. 30 is coming up for Tim, and we could be in for a long game now, to be honest. I thought that this game is gonna be over fast, with one player dying to either the Thrush or the early Castle Age push, but it seems like Bad Koala wasn't able to finish this game off over here, and that is going to allow Tim to start rebooming, and he's gonna be on free TCs. Bad Koala has been on free TCs for a while now, so his eco is actually much better than his opponent's eco. Nice demo hit over there from Bad Koala Sinks 2 over here. And I would like to point out that it's 24 on food versus 11 on food, which means that Imperial Age is also coming much easier for Bad Koala. That being said, he only has 3 villagers on gold, which is disastrously low for the required production of fire ships, so he needs to send the villagers to gold ASAP, otherwise he's gonna get outnumbered by fire ships. He still has some knights here, and I would love to see these knights just chilling over here on woodlands. You don't have to do anything with them, but if this game goes very long and Tim has to expand, maybe Tim forgets about those knights and he's gonna lose 5 villagers to a knight. Because he's just gonna be like, okay, quickly drop a lumber camp here and then focus on fighting. Look at this. Tim is actually trying to convert the houses, but Bad Claw just deletes them over there. So leching now for Tim makes me feel like he wants to switch into galleys, which could be the reasonable decision here. So what else do we have? We have a monastery from Bad Claw. Interesting position over there, not necessarily a big fan of that. He's gonna have to collect some relics. One thing I didn't talk about is that on this island script, you have 2 relics on each island, and the 5th one is actually in the middle. So each player is gonna have 2, and the last one goes to the one that actually is daring enough to contest the middle island. It's 2 demos over here on some very tightly packed fire ships. Bad Koala eats 2 enormous demo shots, and he's gonna lose a couple of ships in this engagement. Numbers advantage still makes him prevail, but this was everything but efficient at the end of the day. But he's got 30 on food, and that's a huge count. If he starts adding villagers to gold, and that he definitely should, he's got a 14 villagers lead right now, by the way, then he's gonna be able to get to Imperial very soon and go for like an early fast fire ship and then potentially cannon galleons and finish this game off. Or he could transition to galleons as well, but I feel like your early Imperial fast fire ship power spike is something that you have to consider. Anyways, there's a transport over here, and I think that these monks actually want to go through and get some conversions in. I don't know how much they could actually be able to accomplish, but the transport is successful sneaking past those fire ships, and as I said, Bad Koala wants to go up. He had a siege workshop, but that was deleted, so he needs another building, and that should be a university for ballistics. But he has a monastery, but he doesn't have the buildings right now, and he's also very low on gold, like dangerously low on gold. Alright, here comes Tim, and he's gonna bring in the monks. In the meanwhile, we have a fire ship fight over here, and as I said, I feel like Bad Koala was very low on gold, and that is shown in the fire guy numbers. He's slowly getting outnumbered. Now it's 10-9, and monks pop out over here. Bad Koala is not very far away from going into Imperial, and neither he is from dropping a castle for himself. He's gonna get a couple of villagers converted over here, and I think Bad Koala is overreacting this one a little bit. Tim actually converts the villagers. Look at this. He's destroying all the houses so that he can pull the villagers and actually clean this one up. Oh yeah, he also wanted to make a castle over here. He should pull a couple of villagers to destroy that tower. That's actually a misplay, sort of, from Tim or a Bad Koala, because I think Tim would have actually been able to get the tower up. Not like it really mattered. This is gonna be annoying though for Bad Koala, because now there is 4 villagers on his island, and he's making scouts, which is, I think, the right decision. The thing is that as long as that transport is over there, the monks can always jump inside. These knights don't really have a lot of upgrades on them, so as you see, the villagers are sort of capable of fighting this one, and simultaneously, the fire ships are going to destroy the rams over here, as Bad Koala is starting to lose on water. Another scout gets converted, and oh, this is so annoying right now for Bad Koala. Look at how many villagers he has to pull to make this one happen. And at the end of the day, Tim goes up into Imperial at the same time. This is definitely the best game so far in this series. It is full light cav now for Bad Koala. I could have made an argument for some Genoese crossbows as well over here. Even light cav being teched into by Koala. But now it's going to be pikemen and siege. So this is still going to be tricky, and Tim is mining stone with 11. Do you know what Tim wants to do? He wants a castle. And now we are going back to the situation where, yeah, I mean, Bad Koala, he could have gone up to Castle or Imperio much faster because he's Italians, but he didn't because he didn't have the buildings for it. And now, by the time he has it, his opponent is also going into Imperial here. Let's see. 1 monk gets killed, 2 monks get killed, 3, and that is sort of a win for Bad Koala, if you ask me. Killed 4 monks for the price of 3 scouts or 3 light cav. There's 1 light cav over here as well. He's gonna have a 20 seconds advantage into Imperial, and I think now he sees the castle, so he's gonna be prepared to potentially make traps. He has to win this trap war, that's a must, because he needs to clean this forward up. And one thing that we have to say is indeed that Tim's eco is completely untouched. He's having, in fact, a free villagers lead by now, because he's adding some fishing ships here as well. The water control should be in the favor of Bad Koala, if you ask me, even though there is a couple of fire ships over here that could think otherwise, but it's 20 fire ships, 2 demos versus 3 fire ships, 1 demo. However, we can't underestimate the importance of, you know, oh, that's a mistake. That trap has to come out immediately. Every second matters in a trap war like this. So, that Genoese crossbow is an enormous mistake. That is something, like, that trap must come out immediately. Let's see what we have over here. More and more spears flooding in here. Monks have used up their conversion power on villagers, and now the villagers can jump into the TC and kill the spearmen. Even the monks are walking into the range of that TC. So, at the end of the day, I think this is a reasonable engagement for Bad Koala, but I think this is all about who gets traps out first. Japanese, if they get the Karaparto unique tech, their traps will be better, but that's not something that you're going to see anytime soon, because Karaparto would require a castle to be researched on. It's a mistake, however, from Tim that he's not setting up that trap immediately, because, as I said, in Trap War, every second matters. So the fact that you already have a second trap on the way for Bad Koala is extremely important, and right now the priority for Bad Koala is to take that castle down, because that is what prevents the light cav from going in here. And this town center right now is insignificant for Bad Koala. He's behind by 10 eco now, but he does have fast fire ship, which is also worth something over here. And Tim is stacking into fast fire ship himself, but he's just about to lose all his fire ships before they're upgraded to fast fire. So look at this. By the time they're upgraded, most of them are pretty low in HP, and they will be cleaned up over here, and he's gonna have no strengths on water. Loses the monks over here as well. Light cavs doing the work. Not the best engagement from Bad Koala to fight against the Japanese pikemen there as well. And where's the second trap at for Bad Koala? He is just setting that one up. Second trap is out for Tim as well. I think you need the third one if you're Bad Koala. Now we're going to see some archer ranges. Not sure why. Are we seeing Arblasts? That could be the case, because you need something. You can't just make Genoese crossbows because you need the castle for traps. Also worth noting that I think that Bad Koala could think about adding just a few war galleys. He's got the upgrade for that. Just a few war galleys being placed around the island would actually deny significant portion of Tim's resources. Castle goes down, and now this is the time where you actually just bring in your crossbows or light cav or whatever you have. Clean this one up. However, we have to note that Tim has a 16 villagers lead, and that's something that is still worth considering, because at the end of the day, what we're going to have is that Bad Koala is going to clean this one up, but he's going to be behind by 20 villagers. That being said, he's actually taking down the docks reasonably fast, and he still has water control. There will be Bracer coming in here for Tim, and he wants to redock on the front now, under the protection of that castle. But yeah, these traps just need to take down the buildings, and they will be fine. Tim will try to keep some of those sneaky villagers alive, but that's not really going to happen. And indeed, we're going to have a galleon switch here from Tim. Some demos coming out. There could be a big demo hit here, because that demo is going to be finished before the dock goes down. Let's see which direction it unpops, and it actually lands a very, very big hit. Bad Koala will also need to think about switching to galleons himself, and so he does. And he's going to be able to delay those docks as well. This is huge. This is huge, that he's actually able to delay or deny these redocking attempts, because he's gonna be on 6 docks, which is still very, very low, but his opponent is gonna be on 3 docks only, and those docks will soon start going down to fast fire ships. Houses going down like this is just annoyance for Tim, not something that's super, super dangerous, but, well, it's just purely annoying. And we're going to have some guard towers, potentially even with Yasama from Tim at some point. This forward has apparently been cleaned up, now shipped right on the way for Bad Koala, and we also have to keep in mind that even though his eco is weaker, it's 60 army compared to 5. And that is a combination of a very, very strong navy over here right now with actually not over, but exactly 20 fast fire ships, galleons now. But there is also trebs, there is also crossbows, and if you look at the stone count for Bad Koala, he's not far away from dropping a castle on the neutral island, which would be pretty crucial. Whoever controls those neutral islands in the key moments, he's gonna be able to outlast his opponent in terms of resources. So if Bad Koala is able to get a castle up over here, then that's gonna be enormous, because that castle would even pretty much deny ship production from these docks. So I think if Bad Koala, that's also a good move. Getting the traps out here so he can start trapping these buildings down. He also needs the fast fire ships over here, so these units and these units have to start moving in this direction, otherwise you're in danger of losing your fire ships or your traps to the fire ships. But exactly, you can just set up the traps who have careening, which is going to give 1 extra pierce armor to your ships. Bracer is still missing for Bad Koala, which is sort of a huge concern right now for him. Not sure if he just forgot about it, or he doesn't have the resource for it, but no, he has the resources, so I'm somewhat surprised he is without Bracer right now, because that's a pretty crucial upgrade. So is Chemistry, so upgrade-wise, team is doing a nice job. It's more about the 71 army against 7 situation over here. Also worth noting that there is nothing that destroys these barracks, which could be annoying in the long run. Not really going to do much now, because it seems like Tim is not really going to put an effort into doing anything else with those. And it seems like Bad Koala thinks that he has Bracer. Because the only way you would prioritize Chemistry over Bracer is because, like, you would never prioritize Chemistry over Bracer. Especially when you can afford Bracer for yourself. So it looks like Bad Koala may have forgotten about the fact that he's missing Bracer. I don't think it's gonna matter that much, because the pure numbers advantage is going to be enough over here. Tim is losing his docks faster than he can replace them, and there is going to be nowhere to go very soon. So that's their thing. So castle is coming up on this island. Tim is going to start running out of gold, running out of wood. And like, that was a beautiful demo shot. We only caught the edge of that, but that was actually a demo ship sinking 4 vultures over there. Shipwright is just coming in for Tim, who is trying to redock somewhere, but there is just nowhere where he can actually reasonably redock. And these traps could set up over here, take this tower down, and potentially make it reasonable for landing. Now we have ballistics coming in. Still no Bracer for Bad Koala though, interestingly enough. And Cannon Galleon, I think that's the finishing blow here. You start making Cannon Galleons and force your opponent to take fights, because right now it's pretty much hide and seek. Tim is trying to redock where Bad Koala isn't looking at that very moment. But once you have some Cannon Galleons out, you can completely make a case for, okay, we're just gonna start bombarding down your buildings. Fire ships like this can also be annoying, because they can harass villagers, they can deny docks at the back. At this point, team has the eco lead, but it's 74 army compared to 10, 169 population is 140. And Tim is not in a position to go back on water. And the thing is that if he doesn't go back on water, he's just gonna get outlasted by the fact that, you know, there is 6 extra tiles of gold and 3 extra tiles of stone in the middle. And as I said, whoever controls those, when the resources on your starting island runs out, is going to win the game. We have seen this so many times. Some nice demo hits over there from Tim, but once again, this is the far too gone type of scenario. And Tim, after actually winning Arabia, it seems like Bad Koala is having a better time on the more specialized maps. Tim has gone tower rush in all 3 of these games. It worked out once in the first one, and now failed twice apparently over here. And as I said, Cannon Galleons should be on the way pretty soon. There's still fast fires, but it's not like it matters, to be honest. Like, these traps could be transported over here and taking down the docks, or honestly, even the Galleons can just finish them off. There is enough firepower in these boys. Elite Cannon Galleon now for Bad Koala. And it looks like this is what Tim is preparing for. This is not something I have seen. 4 docks on the north coming in to get a counterattack going, but once again, it's 40 galleons against 17, and there is also 15 fast fires supporting compared to 7. And I think that even if this fleet would potentially be able to accomplish something, I think the right play for Bad Koala here is just to dispatch a couple of ships so that he can slow this army down and In the meanwhile, exactly, do a landing with the traps or get the cannon galleons out. It looks like we'll have chain boarding, so Tim is Batkoala is prepared for a potential landing from his opponent. Other side, we have forging coming in, so I wonder if Tim is preparing to get some infantry on the field or potentially tries a landing as well with stables, but no, he's going for ranges. So he actually wants to play this one out with land engagement as well, but this castle is going down. When the castle goes down, the galleons can dive in and snipe the traps, so this castle should be safe. And even though it looks like quite a lot of crossbows have died here, this navy doesn't do much right now for Tim, who is teching into light cav and teching into longswords at the same time. But he's gonna have nowhere to go, that's the problem. Like, there's absolutely nowhere to go right now for him. And that is a Thumbring. He's teching into a lot of things like longswords, light cav, now making a bunch of archer ranges for Thumbring. I wonder what this is for. Like arson. He's trying to get every tech that is possible, and as I said, I think this is the right play here. Just use fast fire ships at the back here and slow down this navy. This doesn't, like, you don't have to necessarily kill that. It's more about, you know, just make sure that doesn't cause an enormous amount of damage until you can actually end your opponent and clean up everything. So yeah, a bunch of ranges built for nothing. And that raises the question of, like, are we going to see longswords coming here? That would make sense. But maybe these wanted to be stables, that's something I can imagine. I don't understand. Why you would go for 4 stables and Thumbring when you don't make anything? You also went for longsword upgrade, haven't made a single longsword then. Now it's elite skirms. Okay, so it's elite skirms from these, but you also have a stable that's researching light cav. It looks like Batkoala wanted to get a castle up over here to deny any further landings, but yeah, he's gonna be running out of patience and just dispatching this entire fleet to clean this one up. Same thing, he can actually sandwich this fleet over here between this one and this one. And in the meanwhile, as I said, he's having a foothold. His opponent has 0 gold income. Tim's eco, surprisingly, is still better than his opponent's eco, but it's about, you know, controlling gold, and without gold you're not actually going to make any ships. And now it looks like Tim is gonna try to play up the role of the blockade runner over here, and runs right into the fast fire ships. I don't think that he expected that fleet to be over there, and you just dispatch a couple of these galleons, like 10 galleons, to clean this one up, and use the rest to counterattack. Tim has another big batch of ships coming in here, and now it's 40 galleons and 20 fire ships versus 50 galleons and 10 fire ships. So Tim is getting to a stage where he's actually having a competitive army on the field, or navy on the field. The problem is that he's soon going to have to defend his own island against light cavalry raids, and the other thing is that he's desperate for gold. Like, he's out of gold, which means every ship he loses is going to be amplified compared to his opponent, who, by the way, only has 3 villagers on gold. That's sort of a mistake from him. Like, by this time, Batkoala should be having like 20 villagers eating those gold mines, because you really don't want to lose those before you finish them. Because if Tim is somehow able to ride the train with the kind of even navies, he might be able to take this island and secure that gold for himself. So it would be extremely important for Batkoala to take these gold mines while he can. So 3 on gold is very, very low, and that could help Tim back in this game. That's the thing. If Batkoala, as we have some pikemen over here, did I mention that I feel like that was a premature thing to send away the traps from that island before they actually clean this up? Especially this building hurts. This is almost dead, and you have pikemen flooding out that. And now, look at this, Batkoala is forced to sell resources. I really don't like how Batkoala is not using this gold that he has. If he had 20 villagers on these gold mines, he would be winning the game by now, because his opponent can barely make ships, but he's making his situation worse than what actually is. Tim is without gold on his island. But Batkoala plays as if he didn't have any accessible gold either, but in reality he actually has gold accessible. Now, Tim is soon running out of wood as well, so it seems like that's going to be... like, I don't see a win condition here for Tim, to be honest. And now, as I said, Batkoala is back with gold. I feel like all that Batkoala needs to do in this scenario is just defend. Just camp these islands. You could secure the 3rd relic as well from this island. Let's see if he actually did that. No, there's only 1 relic inside that monastery. The other one is uncontested. That's also sort of a mistake from Tim. So that, from Batkoala. He needs to pick up these relics and capitalize on the middle islands. That's basically how islands works in 1v1. You have to be able to capitalize on these neutral islands because that's the heart and soul of the entire thing. That being said, it looks like these buildings will get cleaned up very soon. However, Koala is down to 58 Voyagers, which is a sort of concerning. Only 144 pop against 162. Luckily for him, he doesn't need Voyagers anymore. Like, as weird as it sounds like, at the end of this game, you are just not gonna need Voyagers because there's going to be no resource to take. And as I said, as long as he has gold, his naval fights will always be more efficient than Tim's are. So he could have 20 Voyagers right now, and the gold in the middle, and he would still be winning this. And obviously he can't afford to throw away galleons like that, because pikemen actually deal bonus damage against ships, so throwing away galleons like that is not something that he can afford. But this is the moment where you bring in the cannon galleons and you really start forcing the issue. You also notice that there is Voyagers over here on this wood line, and Tim has minutes left from this game, that's the thing. Unless he's able to secure one of these islands, which seems very unlikely with a fleet that combines for only 16 ships as opposed to almost 60 ships, it is very likely that Tim's just gonna run out of resources, that's it. And the thing is that when everything runs out, all the gold mines, all the wood lines, the next resource that's available is fish. So as long as, like, at this stage of the game, as all those skirms get thrown away against the fire ships, at this stage of the game, whoever controls the water is going to win the game. That's it, because Tim is about to run out of resources here. And the thing is that you can no longer sell wood. You could say, okay, he can just sell wood so he can actually get some gold for himself, but he can't. Because if he starts selling his wood, he's going to run out of wood eventually. In fact, you're going to notice that in Islands games, oftentimes when the wood starts to run low, the wood price starts to increase really heavily as well. So, like, the only thing that Tim could theoretically do, I don't know why he's not quitting this. Many Chinese players are very resilient and they refuse to give up, but this is like... I feel like this is just about Tim not being very experienced on water. That's the thing I can actually only assume here. Because an experienced player on islands would know that this game is far over. Like, he knows that his own island is out of resources, and his opponent has the middle, and indeed now Tim taps out. Koala, after having a rough start, I don't think that Koala is playing clean. He's making quite a lot of mistakes. But I think his defense against the tower rush is actually very nice in game number 2 and game number 3, and Tim probably sees that, okay, tower rush only may not be sufficient to beat Koala over here. And I actually expected Tim to win 3-1. That's not gonna happen anymore. Quick look at the draft over here. Italians will be gone for Koala. And other side we have Japanese gone. The games that are left over here will be, well, next home map will belong to Tim once again as he lost, and that is Slopes. Other side, we would have Hideout as the final game. So we are going to play Slopes in the next one. Let me launch up that game and we can get going. So here we go. Welcome to Slopes. Hello? Okay. As I said, Capture has a couple of seconds lag at the beginning. Don't worry about that. So this is Slopes. This map has been redesigned compared to Hidden Cup 3 because on Hidden Cup 3, you had a huge pond on one side and huntables on the other side. And what everybody did, literally everybody, is pick Indians and go for a shorefish. And it was so overpowered that we always saw Indian mirrors. It was the most boring map of Hidden Cup 3. So they did a nice job remodeling this. Instead of having all the shorefish on one side and all the hunt on the other, now they have shorefish and hunt on both sides, so now it's completely balanced. However, from what I have seen in the little sample size games that we have seen, I think we have had a show match. It wasn't an official Hidden Cup show match, but it was Hidden Cup settings between some players. I don't remember who played. But we have seen that players are just pretty much neglecting these ponds and huntables now because this doesn't give you a huge boost. It's basically like a standard patch of deer plus 2 shorefish, which is nice and everything, but it doesn't worth the risk of having your villagers exposed like this. So In the previous version of Slopes, it was overpowered because it was too strong. Now I think this is a heavily underpowered boost over here. My proposal was that, or at least that's what I propose here. I already mentioned that when I was casting that show match. I think it was a Doubt versus, yeah, it was a Doubt versus Vivi show match. I remember now. Doubt versus Vivi show match. It was 10 games. You can actually watch that on my YouTube. It's a 5-hour long stream that is completely exported to YouTube. And both players just completely ignored these pawns. I feel like these are a little bit underpowered because they aren't worth the risk. As I said, I feel like if you add the 2 more tiles of shorefish to each pond, you could actually make them reasonable, because for 4 tiles of shorefish and 4 deer, I would make an argument for milling that. For 2 shorefish and 4 deer, it's not worth. It's all the time that it takes these villagers to walk out here. The fact that you potentially have to get loom, because otherwise your villagers will be exposed to like a drush or so. Potentially you might have to wall these. It's the walking time. It's just much safer to go for the mill in general. It looks like Bad Koala, by the way, is going to bring in the boars super fast over here, only going for the berries later on. He's going to be playing Huns on the left in blue and right side Lithuanian system in red. You can see that what you're going to see in this map is scout civilizations being played mostly, because the wallability is not so great with all these small patches of trees. The map is wallable, but it takes quite a lot of time to wall it, so usually you're going to see scout civs being played for the mobility of the scouts. And you can see that you don't have a civ like Mongols for hunt or Indians like the shorefish, because as I said, both players will completely neglect those pawns over there. And because of that, you're just going to see like general purpose good scout civilizations. I like Lithuanians here a little bit better, partially because the relic spawns are predictable. If you take a look at relic spawns, basically there is one relic close to each pond and one is in the middle of the map. So you are almost guaranteed to be able to secure 2 relics for yourself, and that is a nice boost with Lithuanians. Plus the extra food you start with allows you to go for a much faster fuel age than opponents. Other side, Huns, generally a very, very good scout civilization. Also versatile, so archers could be a thing as well. In fact, we have 4 on wood per Bad Koala, so we could see an archer build over here. This villager is heading for a second wood line for now. Other side, we have some very, very weird ritual dance with these villagers over here, potentially summoning rain or something like that. But now they finished, and we're gonna have them going up at 20 pop. So 20 pop up over here for him, and it looks like it's gonna be a 20 pop archers build, because he's sending villagers to gold, or it could technically be men-at-arms as well. Looking at that food count, it could actually end up being a men-at-arms build, and with this early barracks, indeed, men-at-arms is the play. Don't tell me that Tim is gonna go for men-at-arms towers again, because I'm gonna scream in that case. Like, Lithuanians are reasonable for men-at-arms towers, but come on, man, you can't just go for tower rush every game. And now, this is an interesting decision from Bad Koala that I massively dislike. He's moving out for the food over here. This is an absolutely disastrous decision. You either take this early on while your opponent has no army there, or you don't take that. But it's a very, very bad decision to move out now, because in Dark Age, the worst thing that could happen is a drush hitting you. Now the worst thing that can happen is archers, scouts, and you could easily lose 4 vultures. The only way that this works out is that if your opponent is unaware of that, but theoretically his scout should be able to see you, and he should also see that the hunt is getting killed, so I'm not sure if this is a good idea for Bad Koala. He may not get punished for this one in this specific game, but the general concept is quite horrendous. There is also an opening over here that Bad Koala is going to have to plug in. Nice quick walls from him, though. He's going to have to finish those wall foundations, otherwise his walls will be relatively weak, and it is looking like it's going to be 2 men-at-arms over here by Tim. He's not going to add the 3rd one anytime soon. Actually, there's a 3rd one over here. I was just blind. And there is no villagers to garrison this TC. There's absolutely no villagers to garrison this TC, which means that technically Tim could just say that I will run past your TC over here. And I wonder if Bad Koala knows about that hole. Bad Koala knows about that hole, but he's completely ignoring it. What is Bad Koala doing here? What is this? What is this, Bad Koala? Tries quick walling that right now. Palisade gates are actually super weak, so that is just not going to happen. Oh man, that was like so avoidable. It is just so avoidable that those man-at-arms run in there now. And now they're going to just cause chaos after chaos after chaos. Luckily for Batqua, he's got a nice little food income here from the shorefish, and he's getting some scouts out on the field, but there is a considerable amount of idle time on him. Loses one villager to this man-at-arms play, and could lose additional ones as well. His eco is an absolute mess, and all he needed to do is like drop 2 tiles of palisade walls. And I don't even understand why he didn't do that. Like, it's not like there was anything else taking his attention away. And now another villager could be finished off. The scout could be able to finish this villager very easily. Oh man, this is a huge throw from Bad Koala. Because I feel like it seems like Tim wouldn't have found this outside operation over there. So he could have been having a slightly better eco. Now he's behind by 4 villagers. And look at this eco, it's an absolute mess right now. All because this wasn't actually walled off. That is very disappointing, let's say. Anyways, Tim is going to wall himself up, comes out with a couple of spearmen, and I wonder if the plan is to go like men-at-arms into eco upgrades into Castle Age. Because if your opponent is playing pure scouts and you're fully walled, you could make an argument for just, you know, booming up to Castle Age, and it seems like that's the plan for Tim. He's 17 on food, and that kind of feels like he doesn't really want to invest into any army anymore. So it's a men-at-arms into Castle Age boom play. It could work if Bad Koala is not coming forward with towers or archers, and it's gonna take some time until Bad Koala comes up with archers, especially after the damage that he has taken. So maybe Tim is like, Bad Koala, please. It's an awful mining camp. It's an awful mining camp. Alright, so we are gonna have this spearman getting cleaned up over here, and maybe Bad Koala is gonna try to see if there is any outside villagers over here, and Bad Koala is gonna have a nice little extra boost as well from the hunt. That is the only hope that Bad Koala is having right now, otherwise he's gonna get beaten to Castle Age. Because Tim is already 18 on food, he's getting wheelbarrow in for himself, he has had double bit axe and horse color the entire time, whereas Bad Koala doesn't have double bit axe. I like that Bad Koala has prioritized horse color over double bit axe though, so his farming eco is a little bit more efficient. You can see, in fact, even Bad Koala can see that there's 5 villagers on gold, which is a clear sign that his opponent is working towards Castle Age over here, and I think that this is too late for you to try and tower him and prevent that Castle Age. So your only hope is that you can catch up in Castle Age time. And that may happen thanks to the boost that the shorefish and the ibex has give you. But it's gonna be tricky, I feel like. That being said, Bad Koala could actually try going to the other pond as well, because it seems like his opponent is not making any military. And indeed, Tim, he's gonna add 2 more villagers on gold and go up to castle. And I guess it's going to be an opening with stable and monastery, so he's able to pick up the relics and go for the early nights. And if you are Bad Koala right now, you might be thinking about trying to get up to Castle Age yourself and going for the cheap cav archers, because you don't have a strong eco, and one of the things that you could do in a scenario like this is actually going for the cheap CA. So Hanik triple range cav archer might be doable here, especially with just looking at how tightly walled Tim's base is. Just a couple of cav archers could potentially harass wood lines, could potentially harass gold mines over here. Castle Age is going to be slightly better for Tim, but Bad Koala isn't that much behind, and that second range indeed looks like we're going to have cav archer play. I think in that case that's completely fine, and given the circumstances I think Bad Koala has reacted nicely, but really his life is being saved by the fact that he has the hunt and the fish over here. And it's not like Bad Koala has went to scout his opponent's fish recently. Like, he sees those, but he didn't scout those anytime recently, so technically Tim could be out here taking some food. Now, Tim, let's see if that gate opens up when the villager finishes it. It won't. And, well, for now, these scouts won't really have any other use. A spearman comes in here to try and beat them down. And it's going to be double stable knights. Probably monastery immediately, so you can get the relics for yourself. And since you're probably beating your opponent to Castle Age, you probably focus on that relic first, because that is the one that is going to be crucial. These two should be guaranteed for you, so you can pick them up later. This one is the one that you should be prioritizing when you want to capitalize on your early Castle Age advantage. It looks like we're going to have a scout mixed in here, just for the sake of, getting some army on the field. And indeed, it's triple range CA from Bad Koala in this one. So yeah, I think that's something I can completely justify, although I don't like the fact that he's without double bit axe, which is something that he's just getting. So triple range CA with Huns can work out very nicely. Cav Archers, Viper said a couple of streams ago that Cav Archers are a lot more viable than they used to be, and I can totally agree with that. They're not amazing units, especially without upgrades, but especially for Huns that can actually make very, very cheap Cav Archers with triple ranges, you can really make an argument for, getting those numbers up high. Now, that's a mistake from Bad Koala. That Blacksmith is awfully late, because he upped with stable and a range, and I think he just forgot about it. Because he probably wanted to click Botkin Arrow, and then he was like, oh shoot, I forgot my Blacksmith and I don't even have Fletching. This is a problem, because it's not about the Blacksmith being delayed, it's about Fletching being delayed, and he doesn't even have the food for Fletching. And that gives a lot of time for his opponent to get knights on the field and potentially grab relics over here. In fact, there is already Monastery. I like this scout camping this relic over here, and the same thing should be done on the other side, so that's actually pretty smart from Bad Koala. And he prioritizes Boso over Fletching, which means that the general idea here for him is that he's not willing to fight until he has like 20 Cav Archers up. He's trying to hide the Cav Archers, but I don't think that he can hide it for a lot longer. For the time being, he's just playing the delay tactics. And I think he also went for fast husbandry, so he's gonna have the mobility advantage. But come on, you see these knights having +1 defense only, and these Cav Archers still struggle killing them because the CA are missing the +2 defense. There could be an overchop here very soon, so that's something worth monitoring. And without bot carrier, you shouldn't move out. So Monk bringing in the relic, and that's the really scary part. Batco is gonna snipe that Monk over there, but the scouts go down, so Tim is gonna be able to pick that up. And still, how can you move out without Botkin Arrow here? That's not something I can understand. Like, if you get your Cav Archers intercepted, you could be in serious trouble. Villager count is in the favor of Tim right now by 5. That is mostly coming from 3 villagers killed once again. It's basically the villagers that were killed in early feudal. But now that's a lot of Cav Archers, and you can really make an argument for, just being able to run around. In fact, for Bad Koala, I think I like what he's doing. Just wall layer after layer. I like this market over here as well. He needs to watch out for that overchop, and I think Tim is also thinking about that overchop over there. Yeah, look at him. He's looking at that, and he knows that there could be an overchop there soon. The other thing that's worth monitoring is that right now there's only 1 relic in for Tim, and that could still be fine because the mobility of the Cav Archers could give you a nice little leverage over here. Bloodlines just coming in for the CA. It's a little bit laggy over here for us. Let's hope that Capture Age fixes itself. And we're going to have a forward siege workshop here. In fact, if Tim has a forward sneaky villager here, he could even sneak a monastery up there and try to grab that relic for some extra attack. But now that's a lot of Cav Archers, and I'm starting to feel like I'm liking Bad Koala's position more and more. Tim is on 2 TCs, but soon he's gonna have to expand his eco, and it's not like he can go to a lot of places. The food eco for Bad Koala is pretty bad, but he's got a university. This wasn't the market, this was a university. And soon there will be an overchop here. There is the overchop, but the scout immediately triggers, and that's a mistake by Tim to have that scout on aggressive stance. Because if the scout was on aggressive stance, which means that the scout was triggered, he's going to kill 1 villager and he's going to be annoying, but it reveals that hole to Bad Koala. If that scout was on stand ground, the scout wouldn't have triggered, and then Tim could have used the knights to run in here inside the opponent's eco, which could have actually potentially even won the game for him. Now, Ballistics is on the way as well. The Cav Archers now having a reasonable amount of HP. They can use the hill to their advantage. The only thing that's going to be missing from them is Thumbring. And give me a moment to actually restart my Capture Age over here. Because I feel like Some of the lags may be caused by captures not being restarted after every recorded game. I actually heard that that could be a problem. So yeah, let's hope the lags fix themselves. There is a 10 Vultures lead right now for Tim. However, as I said, the army for Bat Koala should be a lot more efficient, even though I'm not sure if he has Husbandry anymore. Because those Knights seem to be catching up very, very easily to those Cav Archers. So Bat Koala has some pretty bad fights. It's 17 kills to 20 deaths, which is not something that you want to see when you're talking about Cav Archers. But now Ballistics is in, +1 defense will be coming in. And I think there will be a TC dropped soon on this gold mine by Bat Koala because he's running out of the one at the back. Exactly, there's going to be a TC coming up. And I don't like that Tim is actually driving these Cav Archers into his forward base over here because this is going to be a huge alarm sign, even though this mangonel appearing is already an alarm sign that, hey, my opponent is actually getting up a forward base over here. Tim, however, he wants to get in there. Mangonel not finishing the job just yet. Mangonel comes back, tries to get the hit on the Cav Archers. Nice moves over there, beautiful moves from Bat Koala. And Bat Koala now seems to be playing like a good Koala over here because he's beating Tim in terms of potential decision making. These little things. The Vulture here is just gonna wall himself in for now. And the only concern now for Bat Koala is that he's at 14 Vultures deficit. So soon he's gonna be forced to attack. But his opponent actually has 3 relics. No way. Tim actually took the relic from here. And even though Bat Koala has done a masterful job denying this relic, he has done a masterful job denying this one as well. He didn't actually look at this relic over here, and that was taken. So it's 3 relics right now for his opponent. That being said, the Cav Archers are still a very, very lethal force to fight against, and what you want to accomplish here if you're Bat Koala is just being able to always be at a place where your opponent is just unable to catch up. You want to force Tim to chase, basically. That's the entire idea. You want to force Tim to chase you. Get a couple of Cav Archers like this. You run away with this army and you use these Cav Archers to hit this wood line, for example. I don't think that Tim is doing that one very, very nicely. One of the things that you can do when you're doing Cav Archer builds is just detach a couple of Cav Archers from your main blob and use them as a raiding unit. And the combination of the inefficient fights that you're going to take while you're chasing Cav Archers and the fact that there is raids and in the back of your economy is going to cripple your eco in the long run. So I actually like the unit composition of Bat Koala a lot more over here, but that 16 Vulture count concerns me, especially the fact that I feel like the Cav Archer numbers are wasted here. You could send 5 Cav Archers to hit this wood line and 20 Cav Archers to go over here. What can Tim do? Tim can split his knights, and that's exactly what you want. You don't want one big cluster of knights that can just keep chasing and chasing. You want your opponent's attention to be split between the many things that you are doing with your army. So, yeah, I don't like that you're just using one big Cav Archer blob. You don't need 34 Cav Archers at one place, unless you want to take a direct engagement, but I don't think that you should be playing Cav Archers that way. You should be playing Cav Archers in a way that forces your opponent to chase. And that is through getting Cav Archers to the other side of the opponent's base and so on. Just hitting the eco from multiple directions, because you don't want to directly engage Lithuanian Knights with +3 attack, and holy smokes, that's a lot of Cav Archers lost. And once again, I really wonder if Husbandry is there for Bat Koala, because he's losing way too many Cav Archers in these fights, and I think he's gonna get surrounded here. I think Bat Koala, the Cav Archer switch was perfect, but he has massively misplayed the use of the Cav Archers. This should never happen. Like, what should happen right now is that the Knights are chasing this blob, and you use these Cav Archers and move in over here and get some Vulture picks. In the meanwhile, we have 3 TCs for both players now. Thumbring is still not in for Bat Koala, who is having a sort of a production bottleneck over here. Now takes a nice little choke point over here, even with the heal for himself, so this is actually a pretty reasonable engagement. But, as I said, Cav Archer is all about hit and run, and he's hitting, but he isn't really able to run right now, and that is going to be a significant concern. Slowly losing his Cav Archer numbers. He never actually made any effort to hitting his opponent's eco. In this game, Tim never lost a Vulture. He never even has, like, if you just look at the eco here, Tim doesn't even have a damaged Vulture, because his opponent was never making any effort to push the eco of his opponent, and now Bad Koala's Cav Archer count is going dangerously low. He still has a lot of ranges, but as I said, I feel like he's just trying to use one blob of Cav Archers too desperately, and instead he should be using his mobility to just absolutely annoy his opponent to death. Like, couple of Cav Archers over here picks off 2 or 3 vultures. You could just pretty much cripple the opponent's eco that way. Now Bad Koala has 29 idols, half of his eco is idle. This game is over. He has allowed... Well, first of all, there were 2 enormous mistakes by Bad Koala. You can consider this a mistake, but he was in a tough position against the Lithuanian Knights that do have... Apparently this was an opening here and the Knights ran in, one of the reasons why Bad Koala's eco is so bad now. And Tim wants to castle drop now, which is just the final finishing move. Doesn't really matter anymore because this game would be in the hands of Tim anyways, even without that castle. But the key is that I think that Man-at-Arms opening really crippled Bad Koala because Bad Koala just forgot to wall, or I don't know. I don't know what he had on his mind over there, or I have absolutely no idea what he had on his mind there. Like, he just allowed those Man-at-Arms inside his base, and that killed 4 villagers, and that pretty much allowed him to wall up, get into cast stage fast, and the only reason why Bad Koala was even able to catch up is because he had the Shorefish and the Hunt on the outside. But after that, he made a little effort to actually use the Cav Archers as a raiding unit, and he was like trying to force engagements against units you should never force engagements against. So Lithuanian Knights, even with +2 from the relics, is not something that you want to force engagements against. Definitely not with the +4, which is actually +5 now because there is forging in there as well. This game is over because the TC goes down, the primary gold is going to get denied. And if you just look at how Bad Koala's eco looks like, 0 on food, 18 on wood, 4 on golds. He's going to run out of gold and he's not going to be able to make army. This game is like Omega over. And we are going to play a decider game over here in this one. The loser is out of the qualifiers and he is not going to have a chance to play in Hidden Cup 4. The winner is going to get into the round of 32 and he's going to have to play 2 more rounds and win in order to be able to get into the main event of Hidden Cup. Bad Koala taps out. As I said, that disastrous early feudal age and then the fact that the Cav Archers just were trying to force engagements against the Lithuanian Knights, where it would have been just much better to potentially detach a few Cav Archers, use them as raiding units. 3 Cav Archers here, hit a vulture on the farms, you can cripple your opponent's eco that way, and you can force your opponent to chase this group, and going back into the Cav Archer thought process, if you actually remember Red Bull Volo 3, the way that Doubt has won that with the Cav Archers is exactly through this. He was able to use the Cav Archers as an actual raiding unit other than, just always take direct engagements. With that, we are gonna have a 5th game over here. We'll soon take a look at the civilization, so let me do that. So what we're left with, as Hans is a loss over here and Lithuanians is a win, is Cumans and Ethiopians versus Khmer or Chinese, and we do have Hideout as the last map. Cumans was a random picked for Tim, so I wonder if he actually wants to play that, but Cumans is reasonable for Hideout. Khmer, I think, is the pick for Bad Koala for that map. I have seen Cumans being used. I think ACCM was the one that loved to use Cumans on Hideout in Hidden Cup 3 with somewhat questionable success. So we'll see if that is something that they will insist on going for. In this one, I feel like the other side wars don't give you enough safety to justify a Cuman play over here. And, well, who am I to tell? Cumans from team over here. Bad Koala is going to be playing Khmer. And honestly, if you are doing it this way, this is a huge civ advantage for Bad Koala in my perspective. He's going to be blue Khmer on the right, and left side is going to be a Cumans for Tim in red. So why is that a big advantage? Because these Palisade walls will hold nothing. Now, obviously these have a higher HP compared to the standard Palisade walls. You see over here 150 for Bad Koala and 225 for Tim, because he's Cumans and that is a Cuman team bonus. However, Cumans will always have a later castle age than their opponents, right? Because they will focus more on 2TC booming. Bad Koala, on the other hand, he's Khmer, so he can do a very, very fast castle over here. The deer is always on the outside in Hideout in this one. or in this tournament script. So you're gonna have to delete a part of your path side wall or use a sheep to open up a gate to get the deer inside. And I think that Tim is going to use this little piggy to keep the gate open and then push in the deer. So the reason why I feel like Khmer have a massive advantage over here is because Khmer is able to go for a very, very fast castle over here because you don't need to build the buildings required for the next stage. And I could totally see Bad Koala just going up to Castle Age with something like 21 plus, well, maybe not 21 plus 0, but 22 plus 0 should be doable for a player like Bad Koala. And then immediately forward Siege Workshop and Mangonels. And Kumans will have very, very little that they can do against that, because forward Siege Workshop Mangonels, and then you just make a barracks for Spearmen or potentially stable for Knights. And if you do that, the Kumans will have very, very little that they can do to defend. So I feel like this could be punished very, very easily by Bad Koala if he plays the right play. Khmer is even better at punishing this Kuman 2TC boom than any other Civ there. Any other Civ would be able to go for this fast castle, Mangonel and the Knight or Mangonel Pike push against Kumans, but Khmer are exceptionally good at that. We have 4 on wood for Bad Koala, so that's a fast castle build from him. Interestingly, we also have 4 vultures on wood for Tim, so maybe Tim also knows that, hey, I might not be able to go for Kuman 2TC boom here, and I want something else, like, for example, fast castle Knights. Or maybe even fast castle Kipchaks, even though with that stone mine that would be pretty bad. But 4 vultures on wood is sort of a signal that we are probably not going to see 2TC boom over here. Or he's going to use 4 on wood, which is unnecessary for 2TC boom. You can do 3 TC or 3 vultures on wood for the 2TC boom. It's also worth noting that the relics are relatively evenly distributed, so you have 3 on this side, 1 on the side of Bad Koala, 1 on the side of Tim, and 1 in the middle, and 2 on this side, 1 on the side of Tim, and 1 for Bad Koala. Golds are also interesting, layout mostly. All of Tim's golds are on the northern part of the map. There is nothing to the left of his map other than 2 stone deposits, whereas for Bad Koala, it's a little bit more evenly distributed. You have a neutral gold over here that's accessible for him. So we'll soon figure out what the players are up to, as both players are almost done pushing in their deer. But based on what I'm seeing from Bad Koala, this is going to be a fast castle over here without a doubt. I am more interested in what Tim is going to plan for this game, because I can see multiple options being reasonable for him. But as I said, I would mostly prefer Khmer in this situation, unless you get to reasonable amount of Kipchak, to be honest. Because in terms of playing for Knights, the 2 civs are relatively even. In fact, if Tim is going for fast castle Knights or something, then the eco for Bad Koala is going to be stronger with Khmer. And obviously, Kumans could mix in camels, which could be something in a Night War, although I would somewhat doubt if there is actually going to be a Night War on Hideout. I guess we'll soon figure out, but if Tim wanted to go for a Kuman 2TC boom, he would have dropped his TC already. I think he knows exactly as well that if he goes for a 2TC boom, he's gonna get punished pretty hard. And I was right about my anticipation that the other thing that you can do on this map is a fast castle unique unit play. One of the main units that you do that with is Conquistador. I think Doubt did that in Hidden Cup 3. So fast castle Conquistador is completely viable. Spanish were banned, so I think actually Tim was the one banning Spanish. But that means that your best civilization for this is gone. But I really like the fact that Tim is not just going into mindless Kuman 2TC boom. Because I feel like that would be punished pretty hard. And I have seen so many tournament games, including from high-level players, where these high-level players were just like, okay, I'm just going to do, 2TC Kuman boom here, and we'll just see how things go. But no, you can't do that, especially against a civ like Khmer. You see, the Khmer player is doing 21 plus 0 over here, although that's not really gonna be a 0, it's gonna be more like a +1 or +2 actually. Food is a little bit low from Bad Koala over here. But anyways, that's still gonna be 21 plus 2, which is nice, and he's gonna have the Feudal Age advantage over here. I like that he actually opened up that wall, and he's going to get a snipe on Tim's scout. Tim has to fight this one because Tim knows that he's not able to run away. You could ask why is he not running when he knows he's gonna lose that fight. The reason is because a Feudal Age scout is going to just outrun a Dark Age scout, and now look at that, Bad Koala, after winning that fight, he's immediately going to move out and say, okay, my opponent has lost his scout, let's see what he's up to. And if he's doing a good job scouting, he's going to spot the villagers on stone, so he's gonna know it's skipjacks, and he can prepare for that with either elite skirms or potentially scorpions could actually be an answer as well, because skipjacks are pretty fragile at the beginning. So let's see if Bad Koala knows about that stone mine. He's gonna see the stone, but he doesn't see the mining camp, and oh boy, he didn't scout that perfectly. And that means that there is a good chance that Tim or Bad Koala doesn't know about that stone mine. Or, well, he knows that the stone is over there, but he doesn't know that his opponent is mining stone. Now, he knows based on the uptime that his opponent is not doing a 2 TC boom. That is clear. So, he knows exactly that his opponent is going for a fast castle. The question is fast castle into what, and we'll see what the Bad Koala reacts with to this one. The thing is that now the tricky situation that Bad Koala is in is that he went for a fast castle without any military production buildings, right? So it's not like he can get military out very fast. And if he's just going for... like, the thing is that if he assumes that his opponent is going for a 2 TC boom and he's going for his 3 TC boom in Castle Age, which his eco seems like it is suitable for, then Tim is gonna punish them, and I can tell you, this is 100%. If Tim has a chance to drop that castle on the forward, then Tim is gonna drop that castle on the forward, and I have a feeling that Bad Koala is just thinking about, okay, I'm just gonna go 3 TC boom here. With those resources in the bank, that seems sort of like the scenario. These villagers will be going in for a TC over here, right? Yeah, there's the first TC, second TC on the stone, interestingly, but understandable. So it looks like we're just gonna have a free TC boom from Bad Koala. So now the question is, what can Tim do to punish this one? And the answer is that had the team not lost his scout, he would potentially be able to see that there is extra TCs and he could just go for a forward castle. Now he's dropping his second TC. That's an interesting decision made. So he's not gonna wait dropping the second town center until he reaches Castle Age. He's gonna start building that before, which is understandable. You have the resources for that. And it's not like you need that stone immediately. You can wait a little bit. So without scouting information, I would be skeptical and say that Tim is probably just gonna drop his castle back at home. There is a good chance that he's going to keep mining stone after that and then play with a second castle, but I think that now Bad Koala is in an okay position because he's gonna have a defensive siege workshop for scorpions. As I said, keep checks at the beginning, especially without bloodlines, are fragile. So a couple of scorpions is a nice defense against them. And behind that, you're gonna have a free TC boom that's actually pretty safe as well. So the only part that's problematic is that this wood line is dangerously exposed to this wall being breached. So this is a little bit weak of segment for Bad Koala's base, but this part is very, very well defended, and the TCs cover all essential resources, so it's gonna be pretty challenging for Tim over here to actually get any damage done with his skipjacks, and at the end of the day, that's going to translate into a free TC boom from his opponent. Let's see what Tim is up to though. Like, Tim is not impossibly far away from actually being able to drop third TC himself, so he might not actually fall behind that much in terms of eco. Or the other option is that he's gonna go super aggro. This is the decider game, and he has had some mixed results with the aggressive play that he has had. He keeps 3 villagers on stone. Over time, that's going to pile up to be enough for a castle, but that's not going to be the priority for him here. And he also went for loom, which makes me wonder if he actually is planning about sending a 4th voyager, and that would make sense completely. Like, if your opponent is just chilling back at home with scorpions, you can get a couple of skipjacks out, drop a siege workshop here, which would already be pretty much denying the stone and gold, and then go for a mangonel skipjack push, which would be devastating. But that's something that Tim is gonna have to make up his mind on very, very soon, because his opponent is already having a 5-6 voyagers lead. And that lead is just going to grow and grow, and also have to consider that the Khmer farming eco is going to be like light years ahead compared to the farming eco that Tim is having. So the real eco advantage that you're getting from Kumas is that you can have more Voyagers reaching Castle Age or so, but that's not the case over here. And as I said, there's already Scorpions here. Scorpions will have 8 range for Khmer, and they will massively outrange the Kipchaks, plus Kipchaks have only 40 HP here. So without Mangonels, Tim is going to be able to accomplish nothing, and we'll soon see if there's a Voyager being pulled. There will be a Voyager coming in. Now, honestly, overall, I like the 2 TCs plus a forward siege workshop push a little bit better than just the free TC boom here, because Bad Koala is going for 4 Scorpions, but that could be pretty problematic when Mangonels start coming in. It is all about how much damage Tim can cause here. If Tim can't cause enough damage, as we also have a sneaky Voyager here from Bad Koala, I like this. Although I dislike the fact that he's sending this Voyager out without Loom. And, oh, it's just for Stonewalls. So he wants to just, you know, Stonewall this off. Now, he's relatively heavy on stone. He's got 5 Villagers with 400 stone in the bank, which means that the grand plan here most likely is that he wants to Stonewall this side and then drop a castle here somewhere to protect the other side. That's probably going to be the idea behind this one. I would have preferred if this Voyager is actually as... Why are the Skipchaks moving there? How did... I don't notice. How did Tim know that that Voyager is there? This is weird. This is super, super weird. Because there was absolutely no motivation for Tim to send the Kipchaks there. Before we actually get into any drama, I don't think that it would be anything related to stream sniping. Sometimes there could be a bug that, for example, he sees the wall foundations and he knows that there is a Voyager dead that way. But if everything works ordinary in competitive Age Vampires, especially now that Palisade scanning has been removed as well, there would have been zero intention from Tim to move in here, because it makes zero sense to actually move out here with your Kipchaks. If you feel like, hey, there is a forward siege workshop maybe close to my base, you make a new Kipchak here and send it over there. But you don't actually send units from this side all the way through. So these units were actually going over here, and I really have to question why were those units moving in that direction. And the thing is that, as I said, the 8 range for the Scorpion is actually pretty nice when it comes to, you know, being able to deal with Mangonels that only have 7 range, and one of the best ways that you can actually stall out a Mangonel push is by dropping a castle. Bad Koala's defense here has been pretty nice, and overall he's having a 10 Voyagers lead now, still without Boso, but he's floating a lot of food. In fact, now he's gonna get handcart. Look at all those upgrades, and it is going to be light cav now, so we may see, you know, overwhelming amounts of Hussar spam from him. Mangonel gets 1 shot in, gets another shot. This is why I said that I am not necessarily a fan of Scorpions versus Mangonels in general. Khmer Scorpions versus Mangonels is slightly better, but still not necessarily a fan of it. And it looks like we're just gonna have like light cavalry here in Castle Age, and probably just, you know, keep adding light cavalry and support that by Scorpions, and behind that you just have a free TC boom over here. Tim has also dropped his free Cert Town Center, but he's behind by 13 eco, plus he's behind by a handcart as well, which accounts for about 7 Voyagers. And we also have to add the fact that Khmer farming eco in general is also stronger, so it's only 23 on food from Tim, 35 from Bad Koala, but that 35 is also worth a lot more than 35 would be for Tim. Now, there is 0 blacksmith upgrades here for Bad Koala. In fact, he doesn't even have a blacksmith, and he's queuing up a lot of light cav. I wonder what he's up to. Because the thing is that what I could imagine, with this kind of food eco, he's gonna be able to get into Imperial relatively soon. I think he's gonna try to wait it out and try to snap the Mangonels with the light cavalry, but for that he needs scareboarding. He's getting bloodlines right now, but as I said, no blacksmith, so no scareboarding, and no scareboarding means that those light cavs will be exposed to the Kipchak fire very, very heavily. But yeah, at this point with this food eco and now 15 on gold, it kind of seems clear that he wants to get into Imperial and just play Hussar. Over here, tries to intercept that Mangonel with the Light Cavalry, runs back for now. The TC still stands, and Tim has enough stone for another castle. He's pulling the wheels. He wants a castle over here. This is going to be the decider engagement of this game. If Tim cannot pull off a castle here, that could be a disaster. Now we're seeing apparently forging coming in here for Tim, which means that he might actually mix in some knights or potentially camels. Still no blacksmith upgrades for Batquad. That is what concerns me the most. And that hurts so badly. Like, okay, now there is scale barring coming in, but that's very, very late compared to how many light cap he's having on the field. Keeps repairing that siege workshop, as I said, the castle is about to come in here. Most of the scorpions went down, so there's nothing that can really deal with the Kipchak. But it's all about, you know, sniping down the Mangon and keeping on with the boom. He's about to click into Imperial, and Ballista Elephants! The genius play, the only use that you can have for this unit is actually cutting into the opponent's base. That's actually the only use that you can have. A beautiful move here by a bad Koala, picking off the Mangonels. I think he's gonna be having just enough to deal with the Vultures as well. And then all he needs to do is just run back into his base and say, okay, I can keep cutting. And that's why he was massing so many light cab. And he could just go into Imperial, and I was wondering why he wants so many light cab when he could just go Imp and go, you know, Hussar and then Siege or so. But the reason why he was massing so much light cab is because he has intentions to cut into the opponent's base. And really, Ballista Elephants is the worst unique unit in the entire game. However, one thing it does well is that it is the only unit in Castle Age that is actually capable of cutting through trees like this. Onagers in Imperial, Trebuchets in Imperial can do this, but Ballista Elephant is the only one that can do it in Castle Age. And now I feel like all Batquan needs to do is just drop his own castle over here to secure this front. Knight trying to snipe the Scorpions. It's going to be an even more ambitious defensive castle. He's not in a rush. In this case, though, I don't like that he's revealing this cut, though. Like, he's already chopped through, and when you're chopping, you want to be able to hit your opponent immediately, though. So, you might as well be sending all those light cav over there, because now Tim has time to react. And let's see if Tim is actually going to react, and light cav will be sent back. This is the moment. And if Tim doesn't react to this one, he's toast. I wonder if those Kipchak are being sent back for that reason, but nope, that's not the case. Tim is going into Imperial, and I wonder if he's expecting the Onager, or, well, not Onager cut, but the Ballista Elephant cut. You see that the hole is being widened by Batquala. You have to keep in mind that holes work both ways. So, as much as these light calves will be completely surprising Tim over here, if Tim somehow beats this one down with the Kipchak, for example, he can actually send the Kipchak back into the base of Batquala. So what Batquala needs to do is make a stone gate here, but no, he has other plans. He's actually planning to make stables inside his opponent's base, and remember, Imperial Age is also going to be much better for him. This castle goes up securing his base, and now it is already a much better eco for Batquala. But now he is just getting the Hussar into the eco of Tim, who has been absolutely stunned by this move. Batquala, I think that Tim has been the better player in terms of mechanical skills. I firmly believe that. However, in terms of decision making and like strategies, Batquala has massively outplayed Tim, and that is something that is showing over here. It has shown decision making wise, I think, in the Bay game. It has shown decision making wise in, I think, the Islands game as well. He has made some better late game decisions, and now this is like Tim is down to 79 villagers, which is not the end of the world, but not something that you want to have. And now it's going to be Hussar soon with plate mail and the Ballista Elephants in actual large numbers. So he wants to use Ballista Elephants against the Kipchaks. I've never actually seen that fight happen. These Kipchaks are now with Bloodlines, so they're a little bit sturdier. I honestly don't know how Ballista Elephants do against Kipchaks. I think they actually do miserably against anything, but anyways, from this point on, it's all about, like, you bring in the Rams, you bring in the Scorpions, you just keep raiding and raiding and raiding with the Hussar. You don't actually have to take direct engagements against the Kipchaks. Elephant Archers actually doing a reasonable job. What year am I in? Elephant Archers, or Elephant... They're not Elephant Archers, they're Ballista Elephants, but Ballista Elephants actually being a reasonable unit. That's a surprise to me. This is the first time that is actually happening, and there is going to be a castle right over here replacing the university. The university being lost actually removes the chemistry upgrade. Well, not removes it, but it is a university that was destroyed before chemistry kicked in. And since Kumans don't have Bracer, these guys only have 6 attack overall, even though it is multiple arrows, but the 6 pierce armor of the light cav will actually be pretty good over here. So that chemistry upgrade would have been extremely important. Now, it looks like we'll have traps over here, so Batqual is gonna have to watch out for this one because he seems like he's about to lose that castle, but it's about who dies faster, basically. Like, Tim is actually seconds away from dying, whereas even if Batqual loses this one, he's gonna be like, okay, whatever, I can jump into my TCs. His eco is very massive, so I'm not going to lie. If he plays like this, he's not gonna get into the main event because this is an absolute mess. He should be using like automatic farm reseeding with all the food or the wood that he's having. Things like this are not supposed to happen, but this idea in general I think was an extremely good thing. And remember that even if it doesn't qualify for the main event, the qualifiers does have prize money. So it's obviously not a lot, but I think the qualifiers have an overall prize money of 2,500. So even if you get into like the last round of the qualifiers or so, that actually means quite a lot of money for these players. So that's also something that's worth considering. And as I said, like Tim is going to try and survive here, but it looks like the journey for Tim is over. The first game he absolutely annihilated Bad Koala. Like he just absolutely wrecked him with the Tower Rush. But ever since then, I feel like Bad Koala has been making better decisions. Even the slopes game with the Huns, I feel like that could have been a much better game for Bad Koala had he not been up against 4 Elix Lithuanians and had he not lost an awful lot of villagers at the beginning of the game. So there was just some small things going wrong for Bad Koala that basically made him lose the game. But the Islands game, I think he played overall better. This game, he definitely played better. I would like to give a shout out to Tim for really not going for the mindless 3TC or mindless 2TC boom, knowing that he could be exposed to an early aggression. But, well, since Bad Koala has seen that his opponent is not going for the 2TC boom, he just went for a 3TC boom himself, went for an early defensive castle, and the Ballista Elephant cut has actually worked out pretty nice, and he's actually using the Ballista Elephants to reasonable effect over here. So, traps go down, and look at this. It's 50 villagers right now for Bad Koala. So, like, everything, like, the only thing that keeps Team alive right now is that the castles that he's sitting behind are preventing the light cap from finishing off the remaining villagers. Now, needless to say, this is going to change rather soon, because this castle is about to go down, and that is going to open up the possibility for the traps to start taking this down. This game is actually over. The TC here goes down as well. Kipchaks will try to dive in and snipe this one. If the Scorpions focus fire the Kipchaks, they will actually inflict significant losses on them. They didn't really focus fire them, and well, look at this. Ballista Elephants in actual reasonable quantities. It's Hussar, well, not Hussar, it's Light Cap Ballista Elephant. In fact, somewhat surprising is the fact that Bad Koala is not getting the Hussar upgrade. Not like it mattered, but, well, you know, it would actually make the efficiency a little bit better for him. Tim is at 42 villagers, 0 on food, 0 on wood, and 1 on gold, trying to get some wood for himself, but this is like, it's an insurmountable lead right now. That being said, I would love to see Bad Koala just voting this one off or making gate here so the Kipchaks can just run past the castle and run into his eco. But yeah, at this very moment, now it's Hussar coming in, and it seems very unlikely that Tim is gonna be able to win that, and well, that's it for my prediction. I thought Tim is gonna win 3-1, but who am I to tell? Bad Koala thinks otherwise, and he has really outplayed Tim in terms of decision making. By brute force skills, I think that Tim has been a better player, but decision making was way better for Bad Koala. If you look at this, for example, Vivi, I'm always saying Vivi because of these Chinese symbols that are not showing Tim's name over here, but no, this is Tim. Tim actually had the same amount, or at least comparable amounts of idle voyager time compared to Bad Koala, but Tim had to run all the way across the map to survive, and so Bad Koala wasn't playing clean in terms of execution, but he was playing very, very good in terms of decision making, and he is going to deserve going into the next round of this one. So, congratulations to Tim for putting up a nice fight over here. He has had some very, very good moments, but overall, Bad Koala has proven better, and at the end of the day, Bad Koala is the one getting to the next round of the qualifiers. With that, this qualifier is about to end. Thank you, everybody on YouTube, for watching this. I would also love to hear your feedback about, these sort of YouTube exclusive casts. So, in case I am unable to attend a live series completely and stream it live on Twitch, I am really curious about your opinion on these, YouTube exclusive series casts because, as I said, in weekdays I have quite a lot of stuff in the middle of the day because I do have university stuff as well. So sometimes I'm unable to catch certain series live, and I feel like this could be a very, very good way to make up for them. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. But for now, thanks everybody for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next one.